3-2-1 now.
Basically, what we have to do is we have to rededicate ourselves. If we're going to win the next two games, we've got a super shot at ending up in first place. And I mean, that's the key to the Grey Cup, is getting a home field advantage in the Western Final at Taylor Field, and get everyone from Saskatchewan, the whole province, come down here and go nuts, have a lot of fun. That's what we're looking to do. And we just have to play our best football the last two games of the regular season and keep it going right into the Grey Cup.
All right, 721-2351, the number to call if you have any questions or comments for Bob or John. And Bob, I kind of consider you maybe one of the luckier guys in the CFL, getting out of that Calgary situation here with the Riders' chance to go to the Grey Cup.
Well, you bet. You know, it didn't look that good for a while there, for a couple of days, but I was really pleased with the Roughriders having some interest in me, and Coach John here bringing me in, and I'm just excited to be around the guys right now, and it's just an exciting place to play football.
No better place to be when they're winning.
Oh, no kidding. You know, I was here 7 years before I left, and when you're winning, it's you know, it's like I died and went to heaven. You know, I'm back home again.
I know the bitterness has died down considerably since you left there, and you had a right to be bitter. Maybe explain to us, being in that situation there. Gosh, they've let so many good players go. People just question at this neck of the woods anyway, what the heck is going on there in Calgary?
Well, I don't know exactly what he had in mind there, what he was planning on doing, and he's still rearranging the whole team. But when it started, he made a lot of changes in the offseason just before the season started, and you know, quality players leaving. And when you rip that out of your team, it's tough to get going. And at the start, things were run in a different manner they were the year before, when we had some success at the end of the year last year. And you know, I thought we'd just kind of carry it over, and we didn't, and it was just a total day and night thing, and I don't know what exactly he's doing, but I was fairly bitter at the time when I got released, and you know, I made a few comments, maybe I shouldn't have, but you know, they're in the past, and I'm just looking forward to playing here and having some fun and winning.
I know you've kept in contact with a few of the guys back there, and guys like yourself and Bernie Morrison, who are really the heart and soul of the team, on and off the field. Have you got any feedback from those guys?
Well, I keep in contact with JT Hay, and I talk to Bernie once in a while, but those guys are a little upset too, you know, and they're pretty bitter yet because of being around there yet, and it's a tough situation for them, you know, for anybody being there. You know, I've got a few friends on the team. There's not too many left, you know. They've kind of ripped them all apart, but it's a tough situation, and I don't know what's going to happen, and I guess the end of the year will tell.
Okay. Hi, Riders 88, go ahead.
John.
Yeah.
I just have one question relating to the refereeing.
Yeah.
It's down in the NFL, they've got that instant replay rule. I was wondering, given that every year there's always one or two bad games where the refereeing, you know, leaves a little bit to be desired.
Well, it'd be nice.
In favor of instituting that sort of thing in the community?
You know, it'd been nice if they could have gone to that on that interception that Plagle had, really, because I saw the ball bounce from my angle and whatever, but you know, we don't have enough cameras up here. I think they work our game with like 4 cameras, and down there I think they work them with 14 cameras. Yeah. So we don't have enough angles and enough people to do it. So and you know, I think that again, that's part of football, and sometimes I'm unhappy and whatever, but those things usually even out. Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks for calling. Hi, Riders 88. Go ahead.
Yes, good evening. First of all, I would like to congratulate the coach and all of the riders on a most enjoyable season for the fans.
Thank you very much.
Except for a couple of games early in the year, you've been in all the games. It's been exciting right to the end.
Yep. Well, we've done a lot of that, that's for sure. That's why I got a few more gray hairs here.
Just a what-if question to settle a debate here at home.
Oh, okay.
If Kent, in the game that Kent Austin was hurt, Burgess, something would have happened to Burgess. Who would have gone in a quarterback?
Glenn Suter is our emergency quarterback, and as well, Ray Elgard can play quarterback. And they know enough plays that we could hopefully go in and struggle through, but we wouldn't be in very good shape.
Okay, thanks a lot, and continued good luck.
Thanks for calling, ma'am. Bye. Hi, go ahead, you're on the air.
Yes, I'd like to ask how come you haven't been playing Albert Brown on punt returns like you were at the beginning of the season?
Well, you know what happened was we ran into an import problem there. When Steve Crane got hurt, we had to replace him with a linebacker. We did not have a Canadian linebacker around, period. Nobody. None. And we brought in June James, who is an import, and when we put that import in that position, then we have to take Albert out. And Albert was doing a good job, and there's no part of his football playing that was responsible for us benching him, but it's the import-non-import ratio is why.
Yeah, because he was one of the leading punt returners in the league at the time.
Oh, no question. And leading kickoff returners. He's an exciting football player, and we certainly would like to have him on there, but that's part of the rules, you know.
Yeah. And also, I'd like to say, Bob, it's great to have you back as a writer.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, thanks for calling. Hi, go ahead. You're on Riders 88.
Yeah, I'd just like to know, on that last drive when Hamilton scored with Winfield there, he must have caught the ball about 3 or 4 times going down the field. Why wouldn't the Riders put double coverage on him? It was obvious he was the only guy who could catch it.
Well, that's not true. You have Rocky DiPietro in there, and I guess you better cover him. And you have Chapdelaine in there, and I guess you better cover him. So that's not true. And they also were dumping the ball to the backs. And Winfield made a great catch, and Harry Skipper had good coverage on him. It was just a heck of a catch. And when you get down in there tight, you know, it's pretty hard to put double coverage on a guy. If you put double coverage on somebody, you're going to leave somebody else wide open. And if somebody else goes in there and he goes in there and they throw the ball to him, you say, then you'd call me and say, why didn't you have that guy covered?
Okay, sir?
Thank you.
Thanks for calling. Hi, go ahead. You're on Riders 88.
Yes, John.
Yeah.
I have one question for you.
Yeah.
The upcoming game, is Glenn Suter going to be dressing?
Yes.
Okay. So then he'll also be holding the ball for the...
Well, I'd like to direct that question, I think, to Bob on the holding of it, and maybe you want to discuss, because Bob is an integral part of it, and Glenn is an integral part of the kicking process.
Well, you know, with the kickers, you know, they get used to one holder all the time, and when you get another guy in there, it throws off the rhythm. It throws my rhythm off. It's a very key part to kicking the football for Dave, and to get somebody else in at a time, I know we tried a couple guys this week, and it's tough on him and it's tough on me, and the timing's off and everything. So I think it's a good thing Glenn's going to dress and hold, because Dave has confidence in him and I have confidence in him catching the ball.
Okay. Well, good luck, you guys, on the weekend then.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thanks very much for calling. How's it going to work in the defensive backfield then in Suter's spot?
Well, what we did was we took June James out. We were going to install Eddie Ray Walker, and he's a defensive back. And what he and Trufflin back there, Glenn maybe could do some emergency work. He's coming along quite fast with his injury. So, and if we run into a problem at the linebacker position, Bobby Jerson is ready to go in and play Will linebacker. So that's the way we're covering ourselves.
Okay, we'll be back with more on Riders 88 right after this.
Football's a game of emotion, and you got to kind of put the cold out of the picture. It certainly does have a factor, and I think it has more of a factor for a team that maybe be out of the playoffs. We certainly have more motivation going into these last couple games than the teams that we're going to be playing. So hopefully we can shut the cold out, and so it won't be a factor.
Urgent sale notice for all car buyers from Heritage Motors, Regina's Subaru dealer. Pay only $99 over guaranteed factory invoice on any Japanese-built new 1988 Subaru vehicle in stock. Don't wait. Invoice is clearly marked on all new 88 Subaru vehicles. See for yourself. $99 over factory guaranteed invoice. Don't hesitate. Now is the time to react. Rush in and pay only $99 over invoice. Trades welcome. On-site bank financing at Regina's Subaru dealer. Heritage Motors, 550 Broad Street.
Turn it loose. We're going to turn all the horsepower loose. The roar of the spring motor monsters is coming to the Agrodome Regina Exhibition Park. Friday and Saturday at 8 p.m. featuring Hot Rod 4-wheel drive modified and Blow 2-wheel drive pulling truck and more. Orange Crush, one of the world's wildest monster trucks, and Track Attack, half tank, half truck, 22,000 pounds of destructive force. Friday and Saturday nights in Regina, the ground's already shaking.
Quality Records presents the Oak Ridge Boys Country Harmony, 16 of their greatest all-time hits. Yes, I'm setting fancy free, and we will sail away. The Oaks' unique sound has made them one of country's hottest acts. You're the one. Country Harmony is the Oaks at their very best. Love to win. It's like the ball and chain. The Oak Ridge Boys Country Harmony from Quality Records. It's in stores now.
Let's go. I'm driving.
Don't drive. No, 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 drive. No, 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 drive. Woo!
Look, give him the game.
We beat Ottawa once this year, and Calgary has beaten us very well one time this year. So it's the type of league where anybody can beat anybody, and you have to realize that and go in with that type of an attitude, especially if Saturday night we watch BC beat Edmonton. That's going to be a heck of an opportunity for us.
Okay, we're just about out of time here on Riders 88 for this edition. John, just one quick comment from you. Games left against Ottawa and Calgary. You're in great shape to take that first spot, and that's what you guys really want. Any worries at all about having trouble getting up for these two guys? Obviously, the fan sits back. The media people say, gosh, these guys are one of the worst teams, and they're the two worst teams in the CFL. Do you foresee any problems
I
there?
think Bob can answer that question better than I can, Ron. What do you think?
You can't take anybody for granted, and you know, first place is on the line. We just got to take care of our own business right now, and the guys realize that. And I've been in Edmonton a couple times when it's been cold and in the playoffs, and I don't want to go back there. I want them to come here. And when you get them at home, I think it's a little different story, and the guys are shooting for it right now, and we're after first place. But we have to take care of our own business and let the chips fall where they may.
The nice thing is, too, you can watch that game on Saturday night and see what happens, and then probably take it over
We'll
right
be
there.
cheering for those Lions. All right, let's go BC.
Okay, gentlemen, thanks for joining us, and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, and thank you for joining us on Riders 88. For Ron Rimmer, Bob, and John, good night.
Hello again, welcome back to the Saskatchewan Roughrider Football Show on cable. I'm Roy Brown.
And I'm John Lynch.
Boy, it's exciting now, John.
Boy, it sure is. The fans are going nuts in this town. Everywhere I go, people want to talk football, and why not? It's been 12 years, eh?
Well, you've been doing a lot
12 years
of talk.
waiting for this.
It's been a lot of talk before, but now they can see it out on the field. And I think you'll see it in our interviews today in our show. We're kind of excited about the people we've talked to. One is the seasoned veteran. The fellow's been in how many games?
196.
Number 40
consecutive games.
Consecutive games. Number 44, offensive guard and granddaddy of the team. And a fellow that you'll probably get to see a new side of him, the dog, Roger Aldag. And also we talked to a fellow who's really entertaining when he puts his words together, and that's number 62, offensive tackle, Vic Stevenson.
And he's played all line positions.
Well,
tight end, to center, to tackle, to guard in his 8 years with the Riders.
A fellow that's been fast off the line, running some great patterns, making some great catches, slot back. Number 85, James Ellingson.
Oh, he's made some real big plays. And what a valuable guy he is. He can play either slot back or wide receiver, and anytime he goes in to replace somebody that's injured or for some other reason, he usually makes a big catch.
You followed the line play in your binoculars only in the small field division. Number 74 will come into just about every time. We're talking about linebacker here, Dan Rasovic.
Very versatile football player, special teams player deluxe, and now pressed into service as an outside linebacker because of the injury to Steve Crane, and Rasovic is doing a great job with that outside linebacker spot. He loves to hit.
Yeah. Here's a guy that did get hit. In fact, you'll probably see his injury during the interview. Number 44, the dog.
And, of course, we asked him how he felt about the Riders getting the playoffs.
Well, it feels great, Roy, after all these years, 11 years being on the playoffs, and we finally got a chance to clinch second spot for now, but we're not quitting here. We're going to try to get first spot with these remaining football games to go, and it feels nice to be in the playoffs.
Just for a minute, reflect on your feelings in that last game.
Well, it was an exciting game towards the end. We kind of made it hard on ourselves again. Our defense played well, and our offense, we scored towards the end with a few minutes left to go, but our defense held at the end. It was exciting. They're the kind of a team that can score at any time, and the receivers, but our defense held, and it was pretty tense right at the end to actually realize that we won, and we're locked up second spot for now.
Well, I guess the crowd kind of felt it all day long. Because was it a noisy game down on the field?
Oh, it was unbelievable right at the end. Like they said, we do not need a dome here in Saskatchewan because it was as loud as I've ever heard it here the other day, and it was exciting to play and to be part of it, and it was great for the fans of Saskatchewan.
Well, maybe a slogan has worked in the end. 11 has been enough.
It definitely has. 11 years is long enough for everybody, and we're just happy it happened now.
Just a recap for us, because I'm sure there's a lot out there who think they know the Roger Aldag story. How many years has it been with the Riders for you?
This will be my 13th, and hopefully be my lucky 13th.
So you were actually shut out of the last time the Riders were in the playoffs 12 years ago.
Well, yeah. 1976, my first year, I played a couple games with the Riders, and I injured my ankle. And for the playoffs and the Grey Cup, I was on the sideline, so it wasn't a whole lot to do with the playoff part of the team not that year, but I was there, but I didn't play. So this is all new to me.
Well, show us your right hand here. You're sporting some
just
white
a little
too.
injury that goes along with football this time of year. Everybody has little nicks, and it's been a long season with the games, 18 games, and they went by pretty quick, but it's just a matter of everybody's beat up a bit now, and you just got to hang together and get yourself ready to go week to week.
This happened on the field. It wasn't on a champagne bottle or something like that.
No champagne yet. We got a ways to go yet before the champagne comes out.
What happens in your position on offense when you change quarterbacks? You've gone from Burgess to Austin to back to Burgess again. Does it make any changes?
Not a lot, Roy, because they're pretty well the same type of quarterback, drop back, and they both can sprint out. So for an offensive line, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference who's in there. And as Jeff Bentram is probably more of a sprint out type quarterback, so the pocket would be moved out to the sides a lot more with Jeff. And with Tom and Kent, it's pretty well the same.
Jeff has been kind of the forgotten figure this year, but he's been practicing all along. Has he been running any of the first-line plays, or is he just the opposition on the practice field?
Right now, when he's on the roster right now for Kent, he's been running with the first-string offense, and he's looking just super, and it'd be exciting to see him get a chance to play, too. And he's a great quarterback as well, and he's had another year experience right now where he's been practicing and learning with other quarterbacks and Coach Goldman, and he's helped him a lot, and I'm sure he's looking for a chance to play.
How about the other name in the quarterback crew right now? He's new to town and new to the Roughriders, Ken Hobart.
Yeah, Ken Hobart brings a lot of experience to our team, and it'd be good to see him get a shot, and he's a good guy to have sitting on the sidelines if you do have another injury. I think that's basically what he's here for right now, is a little security down the way.
How about the teams that you're going to be you're facing? We still have to meet a couple in the regular season, but it looks like it might be those Eskimos again.
It looks like that right now. Hopefully somebody can knock the Eskimos off. I really think BC has a great chance of knocking them off maybe once or a couple of times. Would be nice, but we just got to look after ourselves with the remaining games, and we just got to win them all and see what happens.
Is there any talk around in the locker room, Roger, about possibilities who you will be meeting in the playoffs now that it's really going to happen?
Well, it's narrowed down now. I really think we're probably, like to say, it's going to be the Edmonton Eskimos right now. It's just a matter of where we finish for second, and we're looking forward to playing the Edmonton Eskimos. Naturally, we'd like to have them at our home field at Taylor Field.
Okay, why the difference? What does Eskimos always appear unbeatable up in Edmonton, and yet you don't feel them coming into Taylor Field?
Well, I think it goes back a long year. Obviously, they've had a successful record with their playoffs up in Edmonton. They're tough to win up there. And on the other hand, I think we're tough to beat here. I can remember years ago watching the Roughriders and Eskimos. Another one of them, Edmonton does not want to come into the Taylor Field. And Saskatchewan, on the other hand, going up to Edmonton would be tough to win there, too. But I'm thinking if we get a chance to go there, we'd definitely like the opportunity to go there and beat them in their home park.
We started out talking about the fans and the noise level at Taylor Field. Does it make a difference to the line? Would you prefer that they not yell so much or only give it to Edmonton?
Well, I think majority of the time they're hollering when our defense is on the field. When our offense is on, they're pretty quiet, except when we score, whatever. It doesn't matter a lot then. But when our quarterback's calling the plays, and the crowd stays pretty quiet here. Kind of know what football is all about in Saskatchewan. They just only holler when the opposition offense are on the field, and that makes it tough for the quarterbacks to audible.
Did you get any sleep after that BC game?
Oh, yeah, I got a little bit of sleep. Naturally, we're all pretty excited, but that's over with now, and we're looking for bigger and better things.
So it's back to business as usual.
Back to business as usual, yeah.
Have you had a chance to look at the film, or?
Yeah, well, we look at the film the next day after the game, and everybody grades himself and see where we can improve for the upcoming games.
Are you going to improve?
You bet. We're going to get better as the year goes on.
Well, good luck to you, and there's no use saying it, but everybody's watching it now.
Well, it's going to be exciting.
Syndicates chop block.
It's a treat to see Roger so happy, isn't he? But understandable.
Oh, he's excited.
Yeah.
But it's going to be business as usual, as he says. And, you know, one thing, just looking back at our referee signals here, haven't heard anything about the refereeing when we're winning.
That's right. Strange how it is, isn't it, eh?
Here's a fellow that's been around for a few years. In fact, well, how many? Vic Stevenson.
Well, it's the 7th year that I've been with the team, and spent the other year I was in camp with them when we were first here, or last year in Regina, before we went up to Saskatoon.
And I believe that Joe Faragelli had you here as a tight end. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I played tight end at the University of Calgary, and when they drafted me, they said they'd like me to play center, but no way was I going to go play down the line with those big guys. I was, 210 pounds, said, forget it. If I'm coming to camp, I want to come as a tight end. So old Stavridal, he didn't want me to sign a contract as a tight end, but he eventually gave in, got me for $17,000, which was, I had to hold out for that too. But it was before the TV contracts came. Then I came here as a tight end. We had a little mini camp, and heck, I was too slow, and I couldn't catch anything compared to these guys. I was fighting with Chris DeFrance and Joey Walter for a job, and it didn't take you too long to figure out who was going to win that battle. So Joe called me in at the end of the camp. He goes, well, Vic, we still want you to come to the main camp with us. And I go, oh, that's great, Joe. I appreciate it. But, we want you to handle the ball every play. What? He goes, we want you to play center. And I, oh, no. So I was, 210 pounds going up against Mike Samples, and it was a nightmare. Just I was here for, I think, 4 weeks. It was just, I'd wake up in the middle of the night thinking of how much the hospital bill was going to be the next day. I just got the heck beat out of me.
Then he switched to tackle, did he?
Well, then I was just bouncing around the line. He sent me back to the University of Calgary and gave me $1,000 to spend on tuition, which I promptly spent on stereo system tapes. And then I went back there and played center and put on some weight, came back the next year, made the practice roster back then. It was illegal, or, it was under the table sort of deal. Stayed around for a year. And then the next year I came back after that, I was on the roster. So it's been 7 years with the team now, and that's a long time.
How many years as a starter at right tackle?
4. This is 4th, I think. They all kind of blend together after a while, This is the only year that's standing out in my mind because it's the only year we've been in the playoffs. But 4th right tackle. The year before that, I started at right guard for 11 games when Neil Quilter broke his ankle, and before that I was backing up the whole offensive line from left tackle all the way over to right tackle.
Do you have a goal in mind as to how many years you want to play in the league?
I did when I came in. I said, hey, I'm going to play 5 years. I'm going to get my pension. I'm going to get out before I get hurt. But I got hurt the first year, and then and then the money started. It was a lot better money than I'd ever figured on, and now I'm just going to play until they get rid of me. I'll just be around. I love playing, and I love, especially this year, making the playoffs, and we can accomplish some team goals now, and who knows, maybe in a couple of years some personal goals.
Well, you and I have talked many times during the previous years about how bad things were here. It's certainly been a tremendous attitudinal change here, and how do you feel a part of it yourself? It must have been quite a positive thing to see things change the way they have after 6 real disappointing seasons.
Yeah, it's super. When we came to camp this year, I thought we'd be a decent team. I didn't think that we'd be this good, because who knew that Burgess and Kent Austin would be so good at quarterback? I mean, they've been playing just super, no matter who's in there. The defensive line I knew would be good, but that good, they could be the best group ever assembled in the CFL. We've played really tough at home, and we've won some big games on the road. And I think it all stems right down the minute we hired Bill Baker and got Tedder Ness with the club, and then got the new coaches, and they brought in good players and a good system, and especially this year with the addition of Steve Goldman, I think he's really helped the offense out. He's a super offensive coach, and the offense now is not changing every week. It's always the same. We've got a lot of confidence in it. We know how to do it because we've ran the plays since day one against every defense known to the CFL, so there's no surprises anymore. And you get in the huddle, like we were against BC this week. We were down by 5 points, and there was maybe 6 minutes left or 5 minutes left. A couple of years ago, it would have been, okay, what's going to go on now? I think we're going to screw this one around and blow another game. We got into the huddle this time, and I don't know if anyone else felt it, but I felt we were going to get a drive and score. You just know it now. Before you knew you weren't. Now you know you are.
How about the guy beside you there with the Grey Cup ring in his hand? Does he help it out a lot, the left guard or the right guard, Billy?
Billy? I don't know. It's a weird mix, Brian and I. He's a good player, and he does a good job. We get our work done on the field, and then off the field we sort of go our separate ways. We're not tight friends like Bob Poley and Roger Allday, or like he and Roger Allday, Brian and Roger Allday. They're from a sort of a different era than I am. They're from the old Ram days. They all played together with the Rams, and they all broke in at the same time and stuff, and they're pretty close. And we get along, but it's more of a factor of we do our jobs and then kind of go our separate ways off the field.
Is there an awful lot of talk now about first place? Really going for it all?
I think one thing that was really indicative of the way the team feels is right after the game, we'd won the game. It was a big game, and we clinched at least second place in the home playoff game. We're all really happy, jumping around and crazy, and then we go into the locker room and we watch the last 3 and 4 minutes of the Calgary game, and Calgary blew it. And we were all pulling for Calgary, and then they blew it, and it's like, we've got to go and beat Hamilton, and hope somebody else beats Edmonton. Then we've got to go beat Calgary, and then we've got to go beat Ottawa. So, we were really happy about it, but we're shooting for first place, and until we get there, I think we're holding back a bit. And I'm sure as soon as we get first place, we'll be holding back until we get a Grey Cup. I think the team is, as a whole, it's like going about it a workmanlike fashion. Okay, we've got 10, now we want 11, then we want 12, then we want 13. Then, that's not enough. We want more. It's greedy, but that's the only way you can handle it. You've got to win every game until you win the last one. And then after you've won the Grey Cup, I imagine, I've never been in the playoffs, but I imagine that's when you say, okay, hey, that was a good year. Anything besides that's not very good.
What do you do in the off-season, Vic?
Well, I work for a magazine called Saskaport. And
Hunter magazine?
Yeah, with Art and Bill Hunter, and sold advertising for them in Regina. That was a lot of fun, but I'll be, I couldn't keep that job during the year. They are pretty good people and demanding people who like you'd be out there helping them out, and I just couldn't fulfill that commitment to them. So I had to let it go, and consequently I could spend a lot more time on football, which is a lot more fun than knocking on doors.
Okay, Vic, keep the good work up.
Thanks a lot.
Indicates a spearing penalty.
Vic Stevenson's funny, eh? He tells it as it is.
Oh, yeah. Straight and clear. In fact, we're just into halftime now of our show, John. And halftime of the year, we were saying, what if injuries? What if cold weather sets in? Well, we're at that stage now of the season, and injuries really haven't hurt us that much this year.
Depth is there. The depth in the football club is there. And one of the key people, the depth-wise, is our next guest, James Ellingson, and you asked him, how was his nose?
My nose is fine. I've been asked that probably 800 times since it happened, but no, it was broken at the time, and It's healed up pretty well. It's a little bit sore, a little bit tender, and I think if I got hit again, it would probably maybe re-break, but right now it's fine.
You're not asking Normie Fong to put another ring on your guard at all?
No, I tried a visor for a few days in practice, but it kept steaming up on me, so I decided to take my chances.
You've been getting a little more time on the field. Is it your liking?
Definitely. I mean, whoever doesn't want to play shouldn't be here, and it's nice to get an opportunity and to help the team and contribute, and that's what we're all, working towards.
This is your third year with the Riders?
That's right, yeah.
So you've seen the fire and rain, now you're seeing the good times.
Exactly, yeah. My first year here was in '86 with the last year that Gorda was head coach. And, we, as usual, struggled through a losing year and kind of opened my eyes to a few things about pro football, but the last 2 years have been much more gratifying, and obviously, winning helps, but I felt I've improved as a player in the last 2 years, especially.
I'd say you're fortunate to see the old Riders now see the new Riders.
Definitely. It kind of makes you appreciate a little bit of what some of the other guys have gone through the last 11 years. Certainly, I haven't been here that long, but yeah, it's nice to have some success after so many years of failure.
Now that you're looking ahead to the end of the season and into the playoffs, it sure seems strange to be talking about the Roughriders and saying playoffs, but we're there. And any change of attitude on the team now? Have they matured a little?
I think so. I think the addition of people like Rick Clausen and Milton Jones, especially, who have been there so many times, after the game on Sunday, they were excited, but they weren't out of control like some of us were. So I think, we're just still looking ahead to the last 3 games and saying, let's try and get first place, and then we'll worry about the playoffs after that.
We're talking about the game Sunday, which was the game back on October the, whatever it was, 9th against the BC Lions. But you've had some you've had some exciting times yourself against those same Lions. Who was it that came through your nose guard and just about broke your nose?
Well, it was Keith Gooch, who plays on the corner for the Lions, and I was playing wide receiver that game because James Hood had been hurt.
That was out in the
Vancouver.
dome.
That's right. And Keith took a swing at me and had a lucky shot and broke my nose. So I guess that's part of the game.
Yeah, I guess so. So when it gets back to Gooch and the team being in Regina, Taylor Field, let's backtrack here. Any revenge thoughts go through your mind?
Well, revenge is kind of a nasty word. But, I was looking to get an opportunity to, get him back. I didn't want to do it after the play or do anything illegal, or else I'd have probably taken a penalty, and that wouldn't have gone over well with the coaching staff. But, yeah, I wanted to get a shot and let him know that I'm around and that I remember. But it didn't work out this week, so hopefully I'll get another try in the playoffs.
Maybe we shouldn't be talking like this with the coaches listening in, but with your style of play, you have to concentrate, I would think, 100% of the time.
Definitely. I honestly couldn't think that I could go out there and try and get Gooch during the game. I had hoped to do it maybe late in the game when the game had been decided and it really didn't matter, but the game was close, so like you say, I had to concentrate on my job, and I couldn't worry about things like that.
Any thoughts about playing the Edmonton Eskimos?
Well,
you treat them any differently?
I think you have to. They're, without a doubt, I think, the top team in the league, and they have so much strength and so much depth that you have to treat them with a lot of respect. And in a sense, it's kind of scary to play them because every time you play them, they're capable of blowing you out, and you're going to be in for a tough game. So I think we have to prepare extra hard and be extra sharp mentally, especially to play them.
Well, the 2 quarterbacks, Austin and Burgess, have had such a great year and mixing up plays. Can you kind of relate to us what goes on from the huddle to when you start your pattern?
Well, basically...
Do you get 2 cents in there, or is it all a one-way street?
No, the quarterback has the full say. That's kind of an unwritten rule in football. You don't question the quarterback. He makes the call, and he's in charge, and you run your route or block your man, whatever he calls. Even if sometimes I may not agree with the play or think something else might work better, but, Tom or Kent, they know. They've spent hours and hours in meetings, a lot more than I have, and, I have all the confidence in the world in them.
So you just wait for the key word or the key phrase from the playbook and go out and do your job.
Exactly. I mean, you just have to... Coach Golden, our offensive coordinator, preaches that all year long and says, just do your job and play your position and don't worry about the other guy's position, and we're going to do fine. If you start to think that I could play quarterback or so-and-so could play offensive line and we get all mixed up that way, then things are going to start to fall apart. But if we all try and do our job, then things are going to be fine.
Do things change now that they're in the playoffs? Is the heat off a bit? Is the pressure down a notch or two? Or is it turned up one or two notches?
I would have to. It's hard for me to say being new at this, but I think as we get nearer to the end of the season, it's going to get turned up a notch or two because it's one thing to get there, but we don't want to be satisfied. You know, in football, you have just one shot at a playoff game. It's not like the best of 7 or anything like that, and you have to go out and do it. So I think when it comes time, we're going to turn the notch up a whole lot.
Well, James, we'll be watching for you. And as we say in journalism, right on.
Thank you.
This indicates a disqualification of player.
Well, you wonder about the obvious, Roy. James Ellingson made so many big plays as a part-time starter. You wonder what he could do if he was the first stringer.
He may be just that. We have so many choices now to make.
Nice to have, isn't it? Depth, you call it.
Yeah, right. You used to envy up the Eskimos saying, well, where do they get these people from? We've got them right here. And they want to come and play here.
That's right.
This next fellow has been traveled around a little bit. In fact, you asked Dan Rasovic about his travels in the CFL.
See, I started out in the league, being drafted by Ottawa, played a year there, traded in the offseason to Calgary. Then I was traded to Toronto for Manuel Tolbert and Daryl Nicholson. Spent a couple years in Toronto, played out my option there, went to LA Raiders for a mini camp. And from there, I ended up in Montreal for the equalization draft. And when Montreal folded, I was picked up by Saskatchewan's dispersal draft, and been here ever since.
And you're originally out of Simon Fraser, correct?
Yeah, Simon Fraser University.
Which has produced a lot of players for the CFL.
Yeah, and we got a few right here.
That's
we got
right.
4 guys, I think, in Simon Fraser right here now.
Okay, you're playing that outside linebacking spot that Steve Crane played at. Did you feel an awful lot of pressure stepping into Steve's shoes?
Not really. You know, I knew the defense, and I've been practicing it all year. And I practiced that position all through training camp, and you know, so I felt fairly comfortable. You know, all I needed was a little more playing time, and you know, I've gotten that, so I feel pretty good out there now.
You're something else from the special teams. You've got to be one of the best in the CFL. Are you still fully involved in the special teams as well as taking the full turn at outside linebackers?
Yeah, I'm playing outside linebacker the whole game, and I'm still on every special team. You know, sometimes it gets a little tiring, but you know, now, especially now, I'm getting a little more used to it since the 4th game. I've been doing that.
You love those special teams, don't you?
Yeah, I like them. You know, I like to contribute to the team, and you know, if you're going to be out there, you might as well give 100%, and that's the way I play.
What do you try to do on the special teams?
I just try to. It's like a one-on-one battle. You know, if I have to block someone, I'm going to block and make sure he doesn't make the tackle. And if I'm running downfield, I feel like I'm the one that has to make the play.
What's your responsibility there as that outside linebacker?
So say this BC game, you know, my responsibility basically was to watch the cutbacks and BC's running backs, like they cut back to the weak side a lot. So you have to kind of slow play it a bit. I've got a chance to, we've been blitzing a little bit more and bring the Will backer, so I get a chance to pass rush a little more. And you kind of get to do a little bit of everything, but Will backer has to do a lot of running and a lot of pass coverage responsibility also.
Just to find that, what does the Will linebacker mean?
That's the weak side linebacker, basically. That's our terminology, the weak side linebacker.
What do you do during the week now? Do you study films for a couple of hours?
Yeah, usually come in early, you know, work out a little bit, come in and watch some film, and if I have any little injuries, you know, ice them down and just get ready for the next week.
What's it like playing with a couple of pros like Dave Albright and Eddie Lowe out there?
Oh, it's great, you know. I was glad to be out there with the whole defense. I mean, we just got a great bunch of guys, and when you're in the huddle, you just feel the intensity. You know, you look in each other's eyes, and it's really intense, and, you know, we just want to line it up and get after them.
You blitzed on a couple of occasions. You got Kerrigan from behind there once in the Hamilton game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I enjoy blitzing. You know, all defenses enjoy blitzing. You know, you just want to just get after the quarterback, you know. And by blitzing, a lot of times, you know, you make something happen, and you get a chance to get sacks, and that's what makes linebackers and defensive linemen happy. Even DBs occasionally.
You notice a change in attitude in this team from last year to this?
I noticed that last year when we had close games, you know, we kind of came on the short end. Where this year when we have a close game, you know, we find ways to win the game. And, another addition. We just have so much character. You can see it developing last year that, a team that wouldn't give up. And I think that's carried over from last year to this year, and it's even better this year.
You're 7-1 at home. The Riders haven't been that way since 1970. You talk about that a lot, that you don't want to lose a home game. It's really a big thing to keep that home record intact.
Yeah, we talked about that, just before the game, or preparing all week. We know we're playing at home, and we don't want to lose at home. It's our home field, our fans. And when you go out there, it's our field, and we're going to win.
What quarterback do you find the most difficult to try and contain? There's been lots of them this year, hasn't there?
Yeah, there's been a lot of quarterbacks. I've only started four games this year, but I found that BC's quarterback pretty slippery. Foggy, he's pretty slippery. A lot of those quarterbacks can run, like Damon Allen or Tracy Ham, Foggy. They're tough to contain.
Is Ham extra special?
Well, I heard that the NFL wanted to use him as a running back, and so he came up here because he wanted to play quarterback. So he does have that good running ability. Plus, he's pretty big, so you can't just arm tackle him. You have to get a good piece of him to bring him down.
What do you do in the off season, man?
This last off season, I wrote some exams for Canadian investment funds, and I started doing a little bit of work with Investor Syndicate, some financial planning services.
In Regina?
In Vancouver. But this year I plan on staying in Regina and probably be working with the team, with the Westbridge team, with that drug program. Go around talking to high schools and talking to high school students about, keeping away from drugs and alcohol.
Well, you're a man who can tell us about the Saskatchewan enthusiasm. They say it's extra special, and you've been around the league, so would you go along with that? Is this probably the most enthusiastic bunch of fans you've seen?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Toronto fans, they don't get too excited. I don't know, maybe it's because the configuration of the stadium, the fans are so far away. But Saskatchewan fans, they're unbelievable. I mean, you see it everywhere in the streets. You see people wearing Rider hats and, jerseys, Bobby Jerson bandanas. They just get right into it totally.
Everybody believes first place is in sight.
Yep, everybody does believe that. With little help from BC or Calgary, one loss, I think we can win our last 3 games.
Thanks very much, Dan. Best of luck.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed that, John. I hope that the people have as much as we have.
Oh, I'm sure they will. They're very excited about these players right now. You get a different side of these guys when you see them in this show. I thought Vic Stevenson was fantastic. But like we said, he let it all hang out.
Well, this is about the time of the year when we say so long for now. We'll see you next season. But we'll be back, in fact, with another show.
Maybe 2?
Yeah, once comes the playoffs.
Right.
And then maybe the Grey Cup.
Yeah, maybe, hopefully the Grey Cup.
Well, I'm not going to say anything, but we'll be back for another show, and we'll be looking forward to it, and we'll be judging your comments as well. Thanks very much for all the comments, the cards, the letters, the phone calls so far, and we'll see you again.
Late night boozing, oh, I'm out of control. Red light cruising, got no sense of soul. I knew, you knew, we both knew the crime. Blacker, bluer, I'm back in the line. Making it work takes a little longer. Making it work takes a bit of time. Making it work takes a little longer. Making it work takes a bit of time.
With 100% whole wheat.
Nutritious, that's good.
Or to have a tasty little frosting. Now, wait, this won't work. What's my role here?
Nutritious and delicious.
You mean I'm both?
Yes, because nutritious never tasted so good.
Oh, yeah? Then that makes me a prince, a star.
Please.
Hey, want my autograph?
Thank you.
Let's do breakfast, babe.
Thank you.
Where's my limo?
We'd like you to hear how real the concert would sound on an RCA TV with expanded stereo sound. But we can't, because you're listening to your old TV. So to hear how great the concert could sound, Come to your RCA dealer. Make RCA your new TV. Red and white for the winter blues.
Montreal's Le Grand Ballet Canadien returns to the Saskatchewan Centre of the Arts for one performance on Saturday, October 29th. Tonight's program offers a sample of the company's famous blending of the grace of classical ballet with the emotion and energy of modern dance. Plan on attending this fall's only presentation of a major dance company. Tickets now available at Centre box offices, Lakeshore Drive and Cornwall Centre. Le Grand Ballet Canadien, Saturday, October 29th at the Saskatchewan Centre of the Arts.
But I'd like to one of the finest women ever walked the face of this earth, and don't you dirty her name! We're not out to dirty anybody's name.
Tonight, the conclusion of Blood Feud after the new Mary Tyler Moore Show, Andy McGuire.
Sports Journal with Bob Huber. Well, good evening and welcome to another edition of Sports Journal. Tonight, two members of the high-flying Swift Current Broncos will visit us live in studio. The Regina Pats are struggling. We'll report on their woes. John Gregory, a strong candidate for the Coach of the Year, will be by to make his comments about his assistant coaches. And we'll meet one of the Riders' fanatical following. All that and a lot more when we return.
G'day. My mate's invited me round for a fine Canadian tradition. Barbie. What's cooking, mate? Steak. Nice. Just like in Oz, when you're hungry enough to eat a wallaby, and you'd like something while you're waiting. Foster's. Golden throat charm.
You know, if you're that hungry, I can throw a dog on for you.
No thanks, mate. If I was you, I'd make yourself scarce. Foster's. Golden throat charmer.
For years, you've come to Texaco for the clean gasoline. But if it was up to your car, you'd come to us more often for quality products like Haviland Motor Oils. Your car knows how good they are, so why not pick up a few?
Expect more from Texaco, star of the Canadian road.
Welcome back. Depending on what happens in tomorrow's game between BC and Edmonton, the Riders' game in Calgary could be a huge one.
I'm going to assume that it is. I really think that BC can beat Edmonton at BC, and especially with us cheering in the background for them. And you know, it's up to us to battle our way and win the Calgary game, regardless of what happens in that ball game. We still got to go out and win it, because even if Edmonton should win, they still have to play Calgary the next week, and who knows in this league what can happen on any day.
Right, the Calgary Stampeders out of the playoffs. Do you fear them maybe playing very loose because of it?
I do, Don. That's exactly what's been going through my mind, exactly what I told the team yesterday. I don't know what kind of a Calgary team we're going to see. I do know this. They're professional football players, and any guy that's a professional football player has pride. I'm sure their pride was very much hurt last week in their loss to Ottawa. And I think that we better be prepared to go play a super ball game. And it's really important for us to really play hard and to continue to play hard to make our to continue to improve as we approach the playoffs.
John Gregory is always willing to share the credit when his team wins and has always given credit to the assistant coaches for this year's team's turnaround. Tonight, he discusses his coaching staff, beginning with defensive coach Ted Heath.
Ted is a guy that, Don, I've known for many years. We coached against each other in junior college back in Iowa back in 1967. So I've known Ted a long time. He's a really class person, very, very intelligent person. And I think what he's done with our defensive line is teach them the little things. And we all know how to make them line up and do this and do that and so on, but he has the overall knowledge to teach them the little things, which end up being the most important things. He's a fireball, and it's interesting, Don, in all the years that I've known Ted, I've never seen him in a day when he was down, you know, when he was in the ditch. He's always an up guy, and he always has fun. He loves coaching. He has an excellent family, a nice wife who is a football coach's type wife, and he's really been a fine staff member for me. He has excellent knowledge of the linebacker coaching abilities. He coached for the Kansas City Chiefs and with the Edmonton Eskimos in the heyday years, and he's another guy that's a real class guy. He's a very, very hard-working person, and he's just done a very nice job with our linebackers. I think we're playing very well in that position. He's also come in and done a good job with our special teams. I know once in a while we play up and we play down, but if our special teams don't play well, it's not because they're not well prepared, because he does an excellent job preparing our players. Dick is just another really class guy who is just a super coach. He knows the Canadian football game, and he was a great player in the league, and he's just done a heck of a job with our secondary. And he's another guy that is really fun for me to work with, and excellent family man, and the whole bit. Our guys do a great job hiding coverages, and we run a lot of different things back there, a lot of different coverages. We like to take things away from people and see if they can find where the weak point is, and I think that what I would credit Dick with in a great deal. A year ago, we were kind of struggling back there in our secondary, and we got beat a lot, and we just hung in there, and Dick hung in there with those guys, and he wasn't so critical of those guys that we lost them. Well, again, Gary Hoffman is a guy I've known for a long time. I think that's some I say people that I've known for a long time. I think it's really important in a staff when you work constantly together. You work 12 to 15 hours a day for 18-game, 20-game schedule, and through the preseason. I mean, we have to be very, very tight and very, very close staff, and you want people on your staff that are good guys, and I think that's maybe the most important thing. They have to be a good guy if I'm going to hire them. And Gary had worked for me at South Dakota State as an assistant coach, and had been a guest coach for me over in Winnipeg, and I think it's been a learning experience for him coming in the CFL. Last year was, I should say. This year, I think he's just doing a super job with our offensive line. Our offensive line makes very few mistakes. We've had a few injuries there that has bothered us a little bit, but Gary has worked his way through that. Steve knows all the little things that end up being the thing that separates a good offensive player from an average offensive player, and it's what makes a good player an excellent player. And I think he's done a heck of a job with our young quarterbacks. I think our young quarterbacks have taken a giant step this year, and certainly Steve is a result of that. I think also Steve has done an excellent job with our receivers. Right now, I think we're second in the league in total offense. That's a great step upward from where we were last year. I think last year we were down around the bottom, and basically same players.
Yeah, I know it doesn't, but he's going to release.
Saskatchewan is filled with great Rider fans, but even at that, there are some fans who stand a cut above the rest. Don Hewitt has a story on one such fan.
Saturday, October 22nd, 10:50 a.m., Regina Airport. The Roughriders arrive after a loss in Hamilton. Among Rider wives and girlfriends is a face that greets the team coming home after every road game. The face belongs to Lauren Mitchell. This past CFL program features a major article on the 58-year-old retired IPSCO shipper. In the article, they call the man nicknamed Shorty the #1 Rough Rider fan. He remembers the first time he went to a home game.
Well, Don, it was in 1947. It was 4 of us came in about 120 miles to see a football game. I didn't know anything about what football was all about.
Obviously, the effect was positive. He moved to Regina shortly later.
I got real bitten in, I guess in 51 at the Grand Theater. They had quarterback meetings at the old Grand Theater on 11th Avenue during the winter. And they were selling footballs to the province that winter, and that's when I really got bitten by the green and white.
Now for the amazing aspect of the story. For over a quarter century, you could count the number of rider practices Shorty has missed on one hand.
About 62. 61 was a very important year of my life, and the next year I started attending practice regular with a friend.
Shorty's enjoying an early retirement and helps out equipment manager Norm Fong.
Oh, actually, he's working as a friend, I think more than a volunteer. We've known Shorty for a long time just because Shorty comes around and you almost, you feel like if Shorty's not there when practice starts, it can't start. He's become a friend to the players and a very good friend of mine.
Yeah, he's just a super guy, Don. He spends more hours here than I'm sure all of us put together here, because he's just here every day and watching our practices the last years that I can remember, and to have the Saskatchewan Roughriders win, and he's part of it, that's for sure. He's a big part of the Saskatchewan Rough Rider program.
He's unbelievable. I didn't know who he was a year ago when every day I came to practice. He's out there. I don't care how cold it is or how hot it is or what time of the day it is. He was at practice. I do not remember him ever missing a single practice.
Shorty says he never gets bored day in and day out at practice. He feels there's definitely something special about the Rough Riders.
Well, I like to think we're different. Saskatchewan is different. We're maybe the leaders in a lot of ways, and I think you don't see any other people coming down 300 and 400 miles for a football game in other centers like you do in Saskatchewan.
Lauren is definitely ready to attend a November playoff game at Taylor Field.
Yes. I don't like snow, but I'll be there watching.
Don Hewitt for Sports Journal.
You're out!
Welcome to Sunday Sports Wrap.
Good evening, I'm Bill O'Donovan. On Sunday Sports Wrap tonight, a look at today's game in Calgary, where the Riders lost to the Stampeders. Meantime, in the Eastern Division, the Argonauts posted their 13th win of the year. In the NFL, there remains just one team with only one loss, and the Okanagan Sun of Kelowna, BC will now play in the Canadian Junior Football Final. Highlights from Saskatoon and Moose Jaw tonight in the Western Hockey League, and a look at the Rangers tonight pounding the Penguins. But first of all, we'll start with football. First place was there for the taking, but the Riders let it slip away. In Calgary this afternoon, the Riders' special teams failed to do the job. Fumbles, blocked kicks, and poor coverage all contributed to the Riders' 28-22 loss in Calgary. A fine start for the Riders. On their opening drive, running back Tim McRae carries the ball 21 yards to the Calgary 13-yard line. On the next play, Tom Burgess finds Jeff Fairholm deep in the end zone, 6-0 Riders. And a rarity follows. On the convert attempt, the ball gets away from holder Glenn Suter, and the Riders fail on the extra point attempt.
Stampeders can gain a point and they can take it all the way. Now start flipping it around, boys. Oh, was that nominee?
The only Calgary points in the first quarter, this 23-yard field goal by Mike McLaughlin to make it 6-3 Riders after the first quarter. In the second, the Riders lead 12-9 in the final minute of play. Tom Burgess passes to Milson Jones, who bounces two Stampeder tacklers and goes into the end zone. But the touchdown is called back because of a penalty. The Riders settle for a Dave Ridgway field goal attempt, but the Stampeders block the kick, keeping the margin to just 3 points. Missed opportunities which would have a bearing on the final outcome in the game. Third quarter now, the Stamps take the lead on Eric Kramer's 8-yard touchdown pass to Jay Christensen. The convert failed. It was 15-12 Calgary. But on the ensuing kickoff, Denny Ferdinand fumbles the ball. Calgary recovers, and once again, the Stamps are in scoring position as the Riders turn the ball over 6 times in the afternoon. The Stamps do follow with another touchdown. Kramer to Stacy Dossie, a 16-yard play. The convert is good, 22-12 Stampeders. Now 25-12 in the fourth quarter when Dave Ridgway counts his 52nd field goal of the season, and the deficit is 10 at 25-15. Ridgway tying the CFL record for most field goals in a season. The Riders appeared to pull to within a touchdown, but Ray McDonald can't find the handle on this pass from Burgess. The Riders turn the ball over on downs. 28-15 late in the fourth quarter when Burgess hits Tim McRae in a 20-yard touchdown pass. The Riders do close to 28-22. But Calgary hangs on to the lead for the remaining 66 seconds, evening the season series at 2 wins apiece. The Riders miss an opportunity to take over first place in the West, losing 28-22 to the Calgary Stampeders. And the Riders' record is now 10-7. They are tied for first place with the Edmonton Eskimos, who were shellacked 51-16 last night by BC. The Riders will finish against Ottawa. Edmonton plays Calgary next weekend. As for the Riders' stats today, 450 yards in net offense. Stampeders had just 189. Tom Burgess good on 22 of 41 pass attempts for 336 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions, but the Riders still come away with a loss. In the Eastern Division, the Toronto Argonauts appear primed for the playoffs. The Argos registered their 13th win of the season this afternoon with a 22-16 win over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
The Argos picked up where they left off last weekend, early in the first quarter. From the Winnipeg 10-yard line, Gilbert Renfro with all kinds of time. He strong-arms the pass to Paul Nastasiak for the touchdown. It's 7-0 Toronto. The Bombers struggled offensively. They fumbled on their next possession. The Argos recovered, drove to the 2-yard line where Lorenzo Graham goes through on 3rd down. 14-0 Argos after the first quarter. Winnipeg kicked a field goal, but the Argos added another touchdown from the 12. Renfro hits a diving Lee Morris in the end zone. 21-3 Toronto as the Argos drove 75 yards in just 6 plays. The Blue Bombers come right back on their next possession. Sean Salisbury waits and finds Randy Faby, who was all alone in the end zone. That cut Toronto's lead to 21-10, his first touchdown of the year. And the Bombers close out the first half scoring. Trevor Kennard splits the uprights. The Argos went to the dressing room, leading 21-13. Neither team could push the ball into the end zone in the second half. Trevor Kennard hit on this field goal. Lance Chomick added a single as the Argos win in Winnipeg for the first time in the month of October since 1949. 22-16, the final score.
And the Argos held the Bombers to just 44 yards rushing, 246 yards in net offense. Winnipeg and Hamilton are now tied for second in the East at 9-8. Hamilton playing Toronto next Sunday. Winnipeg will finish the year against the BC Lions.
Cable 5.
One last chance for first and some momentum for the playoffs. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Riders 88. I'm Ron Rimmer. Along with us tonight, we have Coach John Gregory and a running back, Timmy McRae. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ron. Good to be here.
Gentlemen, 2 straight losses, Coach. 2 great shots for you to lock up first place. You got to feel a little disappointed and a little cheated at the same time right now.
Well, I feel cheated because our football team has basically outplayed the 2 teams that we got beat by. Offensively and defensively, there wasn't even a question of who won the ball game. We struggled a little bit on special teams as of late, and everybody says, well, why are you struggling on special teams? We've had a number of injuries on our special teams and people that we've had to replace and so on, and that's been a factor, but no excuse. We have to get the job done there, and we have made a few lineup changes to strengthen our special teams, and I expect to be very, very good in special teams going into the playoffs.
Can you expand on those changes a little bit? I know you want to get some defensive players in there, guys with a little more speed, guys are used to tackling all the time.
Yeah, what we've tried to do is, I think that if you take your outstanding players, the Bobby Jurisons and Ray Algards and those kinds of players, and you overuse them throughout the year, then when it comes to the end of the year, then they're wore out, they're all bruised up and beat up and all that kind of stuff. And we try to fill our special teams in with the backup players as much as possible. So we're going to put Bobby Jerson on the punt team, and we'll put Ray Algard on the punt team and a couple other guys and shore that up a little bit, and we'll be very good.
All right, let's get to some of the highlights from that last game, the loss against the Calgary Stampeders. It started out tremendously. This early touchdown, first drive of the ball game, touchdown to Jeff Fairholm.
Well, this is just a short roll, and we've got just a deep route by Fairholm, just reading the coverage. He made the break on a guy and beat the guy badly, and it was an easy touchdown. And maybe that's one of the things that got us down a little bit, although I shouldn't say that. I sound like everybody else. Our team played very, very hard, and when I go through the films, and that's the obvious place of showing letdowns, there is no letdown. It was a great effort by our team, and we just fumbled the ball too much, and the fumble gods got us, and we're in trouble.
Timmy, let's bring you in for this next one here. I thought it was a screen pass. It looked like a screen pass, but it wasn't. Maybe you can tell us what happened on this play right here.
Well, this play here is designed, two backs come over and waggle. When Wilson goes to the left, and I just delay, come out, and Tom dumped the ball off to me, and I headed for the end zone. And, it was just, we trying to get back in the game, trying to win the ball game.
Great run by Tim.
Yeah.
We actually scored 2 touchdowns in that same play. The other time, Tom hit Milson going to the left, and that was the one that was called back, which ended up being one of the big factors in the game.
Timmy, are you happy with the offense right now heading into the playoffs? Is everything running on all cylinders for you?
Yeah, I think we're doing a good job on offense. We, people say we got 500 yards a game, but, stats don't mean a lot if you lose. So, we're doing a good job, and I think that we're going to go in this game this week, and we're going to prove to people that we're back, and we can win the ball game.
Another one of those exciting comebacks almost in the works in that last game against Calgary. We got the short kickoff here, Coach, and it was awfully darn close, and it looked like on the sidelines watching you thought you guys had the ball.
I was trying to coach the officials into this one. Actually, I knew Ray was out of bounds, but I was trying to, and Ray did tip the ball.
Yeah.
He's slightly out of bounds, or he does get the ball, and but he was out of bounds, and it was a good call by the official. So it was close, and it was a good kick. We could have maybe kicked the ball a little bit deeper, and we had a little better chance on it.
Okay, with the special teams, again, you have made some changes for this week, and do you feel better about them heading into this game? Obviously, we keep hearing special teams win championships and that sort of thing.
Listen, the last 2 games, we've had over 450 yards offense, and the other team has had less than 200 yards. Last week, I think we had 20 first downs, they had 9, and we lost the ball game. And our players, I'm sure, are very convinced right now that special teams, you have to win the 3 phases of the game. And then if you're going to lose one phase of the game, don't lose the special teams. Lose the offense or defense, but don't lose the special teams game, because that's going to lose the game for you. And that's unfortunate. We've played very well on special teams all year. If you look through the stats, you'll find out that we're at very close to the top of the league. But the last 2 games, we just have allowed some things that happen that can't happen. And I might add that some of the things, we had 4 fumbles on returns. And our guys, take, for instance, Richie Hall. I tell you what, I put my billfold back there in his hands every time. I do not. Tammy, do you remember Richie ever fumbling a punt this year?
I've never seen him. That's the first one I saw.
And he's just the surest-handed guy, and that happens. And there's nothing you can do about it, and you don't go jump on the guy. You say, hey, go get it the next time.
And that's what they'll have to do this weekend against the Ottawa Roughriders. We've got to take a break on Riders 88. The number to call if you have any questions or comments for John or Tim, give us a call at 721-2351. We'll be back after this.
It's an inexperienced team as far as the being at the top of the heap is concerned, and it takes time. You have to crawl before you can walk, type thing, and it takes time to learn how to handle these situations where we're just not handling them as they should be handled.
Winter is here, and Kyle's Sporting Goods is prepared with a store-wide sale on sports equipment and clothing. Save on Kyle's quality hockey equipment. All 20% off regular price. Save 20% on athletic footwear and 20 to 50% on clothes. Come upstairs to Leanne's and see a selection of stylish ladies' wear for 20% off regular price. Take advantage of Kyle's terrific prices to gear yourself up for winter recreation. Winter's going to be here a while, but these prices won't last. So come in now to Kyle's Sporting Goods, 1843 Hamilton.
Hi, I'm George Reed, formerly of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. For the past 12 years, the George Reed Foundation has helped change Saskatchewan awareness of the mentally handicapped. We are dedicated to creating new opportunities for the disabled in our community. This Christmas, we ask you to open your heart by sponsoring Disabled Kids to see Illusions, a magic spectacular, a show the whole family will enjoy. Join us and thank you for caring and sharing. Together we will make a difference.
Hear Aled Jones sing Morning Has Broken on an album of hymns. 16 greatly loved hymns from The Lord is My Shepherd to Amazing Grace on this specially recorded new album from the pure and unique voice of Aled Jones. Aled Jones, an album of hymns on record, cassette, or compact disc. In stores now from Quality Records and Tapes.
Look, I am trying to represent a client
as best I can. Now, you guys gonna wish me luck or what?
How can you take on a case like this and not get involved on a personal level?
I suggest you and your crack secretary get busy. I'll be slapping you with papers it'll take a hand truck to carry.
You owe me better than this.
I'm sorry, Michael, but your client can't be my concern.
I can't take this.
Oh, you're bitching because you don't like the second sharing a case.
I'm bitching because you're using this thing as a power trip.
The season premiere of L.A. Law, tonight at 9 on STV.
So, and that's all I've been hearing is, first place and Grey Cup. And, we haven't accomplished anything yet. We've done well in the regular season, but the regular season is fine and dandy. But, it's the 3 games or 2 games, whatever, after the regular season that really counts. So, we just have to forget about everything else. Just go out and play Saskatchewan Roughrider football and get back to winning ways.
Speaking of forgetting about things in personal, beginning of the season, during training camp in any case, Timmy, the talk was, geez, maybe the Riders going to go with a full Canadian backfield, and you might be on your way out. You're still here and have had a pretty fine season.
Well, I'm happy I'm here. I'm happy that Coach Gregory them had confidence in me, and they kept me around. And I always come into camp every year thinking I'm gonna get cut, so I just come in and work hard and say, hey, I'm not gonna make it easy for them to get rid of me.
That's the best way to do it too, to think that you got to earn a job every time you come out there.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, this guy right next to me right here is just a great player. Timmy, I didn't know much about Timmy when I first came over here because he kind of played behind Bobby Johnson, and he does everything well. He blocks well, he catches the ball, he's a super pass receiver, he runs hard. I mean, he just plays every day, and we had thoughts of a Canadian backfield, but once we got in camp and we saw what Tim was doing, there's no way we could do without this guy. He's been a great football player for us.
Obviously, every offensive player, Tim, wants the ball as much as they can, every time, every down. Is it tough, though, when you've got so many other guys to work with, getting into a rhythm, keeping things going at times?
Well, it's kind of tough at times, when you don't see the ball that much. I'm a team player, and, as long as we win, I'm happy. And in the role that I played this year, I'm happy with it, whether it's blocking or receiving or whatever, I'm always willing to do what it's going to take to win.
All right, questions or comments for Tim or John, give us a call, 721-2351, and we'll head to the phone lines now. All right, go ahead. You're on Riders 88.
Hi, John, I'd just like to say that I don't think throwing temper tantrums on the sidelines when we're losing is helping matters.
Oh, goodness.
Well, for example, what are you talking about?
Well, the game that we lost in Calgary earlier in the season, and then the one in Hamilton and the one on the weekend, whenever the count with the sidelines, you were throwing papers around and swearing and stomping and fuming. It'd show a little more leadership if you just calmly gathered.
Well, what would you do?
What would I do? I think I'd try to keep a lid on it.
I'll tell you something. I think a football coach and a competitor, you have to show temperament. And I guarantee you, my players understand me, and I understand myself. And I don't buy what you're saying, and I don't really care what you're saying. I'm saying that I'm John Gregory, I'm not somebody else, and I have to be what I am. We will build this football team, and we are continuing to build it, and you'll never see me really criticize players. Officials, I get on officials once in a while. At Hamilton, if you don't think that I was right in criticizing officials, then I don't care what you think, okay? Because they were wrong, and I was right. And whatever you think, you have your judgment, and I appreciate your comments, but I can only be John Gregory, okay?
I respect you for that.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thank you very much for calling. John, along with that, I know you don't want to talk about it, but you made a concentrated effort at the beginning of the season, you said, to maybe tone it down a little bit from last year, and I think you have done that.
I have. I've been, I'm one of the, I do not believe in stupid mistakes, and that it's very hard for me to swallow stupid mistakes. Now, players understand that. Although I don't condemn the players, at the time we sit down and we talk about it, and Timmy can assure you that there's no personal affronts. It's honest to goodness. Let's get the job done. Let's get the job done right, and that's the only way you can play football. I don't go for stupid mistakes either by our football team or by the officials.
In all fairness to you too, I don't think a person can understand or realize like this caller unless they're right out there on the field.
Oh, hey, I tell you, I'm an intense person.
I don't think I'd be a good football coach unless I was an intense person.
The other side of the coin, John, and I know it must make you think a little bit, what happened to Mike Ditka earlier in this week?
Oh, hey, I'll tell you what, I'm not even comparable to Mike Ditka as far as temperament and whatever. But I've known some players that played for Mike Ditka, and they would kill for the guy because the guy is a great person, and he believes in his players, and they know that they have a job to do, and they better damn well get the job done. And I'm sure Mike will be okay, but it's an unfortunate thing. And there's a lot of pressure on those of us who are on the sidelines. It's a hell of a lot easier to sit up there in the stands and call plays after the plays are over, or make judgments after the judgment's made and the judgment was wrong or right.
Okay. Riders 88, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd just like to agree with you on your comments about that last caller. He's obviously never been in any kind of intense competition.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that very much, and I don't think it's good for a coach to lose his head. I think you have to lose. If you don't lose your head once in a while, I wonder what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you can be a football coach and be down there and be, a paleface.
Or a player, for that matter.
Yeah. Tom Landry is, to me, amazing. But I've noticed in the past year or two that his hair, as short as it is, it stands up every now and then. Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay, I've got a question, too.
Sure. Go ahead.
Why, okay, for the last game, you said you're having trouble with your special teams. Why do you activate Eddie Ray Walker instead of Albert Brown? Because Albert Brown can do the return so well.
But the problem we had there is Glenn Suter is hurt. Glenn Suter cannot run. Albert Brown is not a halfback and not a free safety. And Eddie Ray Walker is a halfback and is a free safety, and that's why we've kept him around here. That's the reason.
Oh, as I know, he was just a defensive back, and I thought,
it doesn't. Albert's basically a corner only, and really is not familiar with the other two positions, which Eddie Ray Walker has been a starter in the league at halfback, and we're not willing to go in and sacrifice our secondary by any means to just get one player on there. And Eddie did a nice job, by the way, on our special teams.
Oh, okay, thanks a lot.
Hey,
thanks for the call.
Good question. Excellent question.
Hi, go ahead. You're on Riders 88.
Hello. Hello, Coach Gregory.
Hi.
So I'd like to congratulate you on a season well done.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and Tim McRae, how are you tonight?
I'm doing okay.
That's great. First of all, I think Coach Gregory, for Manager of the Year.
Excuse me?
I think he'll win for Coach of the Year.
Well, I'm more concerned right now about doing a good job in this game coming up with Ottawa. I think that's important to us. And then getting in the playoffs and then going on from the playoffs. We're not going to just get in the playoffs. I think we're going to go in. Tim, you can maybe answer the question. We're going in to win, don't you think, Tim?
Oh, yes. I think this week will be a definitely stepping stone for us if we go out and perform like we have, in the previous games. Well, not the last two games, but the games that, we looked good in and played well. And we definitely need to go out this week and carry this over into the playoffs.
Exactly. Yeah. Forget about first place altogether. You need some momentum heading into the playoffs.
Yep.
Okay?
Is this confidence in the team, man? There's a lot of confidence in the
team? I feel like we still got a lot of confidence. We got veteran players there, and they know what it takes to win, and we want to win, and I think we will win.
Oh, and another thing, I predicted all the Rider games from the beginning of the season, and I've been 14-3 on the season. I predict you'll win this week.
You're how many? 14-3?
Yes. 14 times I've been right, and 3 times I've been wrong.
Well, that's pretty good record. Yep.
And I predict this week you'll win against Ottawa.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, you're on Riders 88.
Yeah, I'd just like to say hello to John and say he's doing a heck of a job, and losing his temper, I think, showed a little spirit. But the question is, I'd like to ask if Jeff Benson is going to see any action.
Well, we really, really would like to get Jeff in. Just because I think Jeff, what do you think of Jeff as a quarterback? Timmy, you've worked with him a lot.
He's a good quarterback. He got a good arm. He knows the offense, and he's a smart quarterback. And I'm sure if he ever got his chance, he'd do well.
He runs really well.
Oh, he runs really well. What we'd really like to do is blow these guys out in the first half and get Jeff in there in the second half. Honestly, that's what I'd like to do. Okay?
Heck of a quarterback, and well, thanks.
I think he's pretty good.
Thanks for the call. Go ahead, you're on Riders 88.
Yeah, just two quick comments here. The first caller on tonight's show, I don't think is quite indicative of how a lot of people feel, and I think that if they've followed the Riders in the past, they'll know that discipline usually wins championship football teams. And if discipline means a coach who gets excited every once in a while, I'd rather have a disciplined football team. Second comment I want to make is, you might not hear it again tonight, but I thought Jeff Treflon played very well, considering that he's only played, 2 games in the last 4 years as far as a starter goes?
Right. Well, I appreciate your first comments, and you know, hey, I'm not saying that I do everything right, and you know, one thing, I'm a real person, and I think Tim will agree with that. I try to be as real as I can be. I'm not a phony, and I would be an extreme phony if I would sit there on the sideline and act like that it doesn't bother me for somebody to make a mistake or to have an unnecessary, to make a stupid penalty or whatever. I'd be a phony, and I'm not a phony. Okay. And what was your second?
About Jeff
Just a quick
Jeff,
comment that
Jeff
I thought
Jeff Treflon has been a very nice addition to our football team. One is he's a short guy, and I can look down to him a little bit. And the other thing is he's a heck of an athlete. And he went in there, he played very well last week. And I think he'll play even better this week. We're anxious to get Glenn Suter back, but Jeff's doing a nice job for us. Thank you.
All the best against Ottawa.
Okay, thanks very much for the call.
Okay.
We've got to take a break on Riders 88. We'll be back with more and with Tim and John right after this. In your estimation, is this team ready to be a championship team?
We're awful close. We're awful close. There's a fine line between a good football team and a great football team, and, you know, 3 weeks ago, had you asked me that, I'd say, well, we're sure there. You know, we got all the things that it takes. And we're still close. But we've got to eliminate the big mistakes, just as everybody else does, that's going to be a great football team.
The Dranger, a high-tech home product recently introduced in Popular Science magazine. The Dranger, a chemical-resistant rubber flange that fits easily into your floor drain. It prevents radon gas from seeping into your basement. It also prevents mold spores as well as noxious fumes, odors, and insects from entering your home through the floor drain. Radon gas, colorless, odorless, a naturally occurring form of radiation that seeps into your home through the floor drain. Proved on average to be more hazardous to your health than exhaust fumes or smoke. Safeguard your home from this ominous gas by installing the Dranger. It protects without restricting the flow of water. Simple step-by-step instructions make this economical device extremely easy to install. As an additional benefit, the Dranger, as stated in Popular Science, is an aid in energy conservation. A savings on your home heating bills can be noticed by this simple method of preventing cold air from entering through the floor drain. Improvement and a healthy atmosphere in the home are your concern. Take the easy, effective, and most economical step to ensuring a safe, clean environment for you and your family. Get the Dranger, available also in industrial size. Now for the low price of only $19.95 for the 2 to 8 inch size drain, or $29.95 for the 8 to 12 inch size. Note these safeguarding advantages. Energy conservation, prevents insects, mold spores, and odors, prevents deadly radon gas from entering your home. Please stand by to order.
Up to 40% of the homes in Regina have unacceptable radon gas levels. Visa, MasterCard, COD charges, call 306-569-1321. Or save COD charges by sending $19.95 for 2 to 8 inch size, or $29.95 for the 8 to 12 inch size, plus $3 shipping and handling to Dranger, P.O. Box 124, Regina, Saskatchewan. Call now. Operators are standing by. Remember, this offer could end without notice.
You know, it seems like this team seems like do things the hard way. So I guess maybe if we end up in second, we'll just have to do it the harder way. And it seems like this team seems to come through in situations like that.
We're back on Riders 88 with Tim McRae and John Gregory. We're going to get right to the phone lines because they are jammed. Hello, you're on Riders 88.
Hello, Coach. How are you tonight?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. I just have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Is Glenn Suter going to be ready to play on Sunday?
He's about, he's about 80%. Really, we've got him in there to hold, and he had the first missed hold that he's had. I've ever seen him have the other day too. But he's outstanding. We really don't want to mess up the rhythm between he and Dave Ridgway, but he is not ready to play. No.
Oh, and now that Steve Crane is back, is there any possibility that you'll reactivate Albert Brown for a return?
I really can't because of one thing. One's a Canadian and one's an American. So you can't exchange the two. So I can't do that. I've got to take another Canadian off to put Steve Crane in there.
So, okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks for the call.
We really would like to get Albert Brown back in the lineup, but I can't because he's not a halfback and a free safety like Eddie Ray Walker is.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for the call.
Bye.
Go ahead, you're on the air.
Hi, I'd just like to say hi to John.
Hi.
And hi to Tim McRae, the guy that never fumbles.
Boy, isn't that nice? I agree with you, and that's one of the best things about this guy.
Okay. First of all, I'd just like to go back to the first gentleman that phoned in, and I like to see John Gregory intense on the sidelines because it shows a sign that the team's intense, and back in the 2 and 14 seasons, I think that was part of the problem. I think you'll see that we're probably the least penalized team in the league. That's probably mainly because we are intense. And keep doing it, John. You're doing a great job.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And I got a question for Tim McRae. Lately, we've been throwing a lot of screen passes, and we seem to be getting good gains on it. And to Tim, do you think we should be running those a bit more, or do you think that if we run them more, will they pick up on it?
Well, I think the way we're doing it now, we're just mixing it in, and we're mixing the run in, and we're mixing the pass in, and we'll throw a screen in there every now and then. I don't think that we should just come out and just throw screens every down or whatever. But I think we're doing a good job on it. Just try to keep the defense, keep them off guard, and we throw a screen in there, and we usually get good yards out of that.
Let me answer your question. Screens are very good against zone coverages. So if we're getting a lot of zone and we figure out what down and distance they're running zones on, then we love to run a screen and dump it off to Tim or dump it off to Nilsson. If they're in man-to-man coverage, then screens are not good, and the quarterback's back there going, oh boy, what do I do with it now? And that's why a lot of times you see quarterbacks get a big sack. You had a screen on.
Okay, I have one more question.
Sure.
Dan Rasovic, Steve Crane. Will Steve Crane be back in the lineup Sunday? And if so, I think Dan Rasovic has done a good job, and Steve Crane is also really good.
That's right, and we're excited about that. We will play both of them. We'll start Dan Rasovic, and we'll work Steve Crane in. I think it'll take him some time to get back in, get in the swing of things. But it'll be nice to have Steve Crane back on special teams because he's pretty darn good.
Okay, well, my wife and I will have season tickets as long as you're head coach, Mr. Gregory. Thank you, and best of luck.
Thank you very much. That's a very nice comment.
Thank you for calling. Go ahead, you're on Riders 88.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions, one for John Gregory and one for Tim McRae. John, what do you think the team morale is like after the 2 losses?
Our team morale has stayed pretty stable all year. We haven't really had, maybe Timmy can answer this better for you, we haven't been like this. We've been pretty stable, and that's what we're trying to develop, is a very stable atmosphere in our locker room. And I think that what we try to do is that we say, oh, that game's over, let's go to the next one, whether we won it or lost it. And I think that's the way that we have to approach them. I think that we have a team that's maturing, and we don't have those tremendous highs and lows. Tim, what do you think on that? Because you're one of the real key figures in that.
Well, I don't think nobody has a negative attitude, after we lose a game. We just come back and say, well, hey, that's behind us, and we just got to look forward and win the next game. So nobody gets down. Everybody keeps their head up. That's the key right there. Keeping your head up, never get down, and just play the best you can next game.
Okay. What was your other question for Tim?
I was just wondering, where the heck did Tim get that sweater?
I might have
kind of
traded
Christmassy.
I got this at Tip Top. I bought it last year.
I think it'll look good with gray hair.
Okay, thanks very much for the call.
Okay.
We've got to take a break on Riders 88. We'll be back right after this.
That's the thing that came to my mind when we were flying back from Calgary. I thought maybe guys were a little tight, and we were a little too anxious to get to that first place spot, and we went out a little tight and didn't play loose football, and Calgary was playing loose, and they showed it. They beat us up a little bit, and we've got to learn to come out and just play our game, and we'll take care of the other teams. We just got to learn to play loose.
It's always been a big part of your life. You've grown up with it and relied on it for consistent and timely information. It's a reflection of the community it serves, and at the same time, a window to the outside world. It respects authority, but is not afraid to ask questions.
Through the years, it has set an industry standard with its unique brand of information and entertainment. Now more than ever, when it happens in Saskatchewan, you turn to the source.
What do you get when you add a staff with years of experience in the audio-video industry? Plus a huge inventory of the best names in electronics like Sony televisions, Sony compact disc players, and Sony camcorders. Plus a qualified service team, plus the largest selection of CDs in the province, plus 24 years of commitment to customer satisfaction, plus an anniversary event that offers fantastic values on everything in the store.
It all adds up to the Audio Warehouse 24th anniversary sale on now.
The hottest country sounds of the year on Quality's Super Country 88, starring sensational Highway 101.
Somewhere tonight, he's alive.
Dwight Yoakam.
Guitars can like hillbilly music.
George Strait.
All my exes live in Texas.
Ricky Van Shelton.
But I bet somebody lies.
Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
You and me go fishing in the dark.
Restless Heart. T. Graham Brown. Steve Warner. Eddie Raven. And Ricky Skaggs.
Oh, Lord, I'm tired.
Steve Earle. T.G. Shepard. The Judge. Dan Seals. And Earl Thomas Conley.
Right from the start.
Alabama.
And where are you going, Tar?
Quality Super Country 88. Without a doubt, the year's best. It's in stores now.
Oh, the best thing we do is just forget about it. The important thing is we got to go in, we got to play as hard as we can to beat Ottawa so we feel good about ourselves going the next week. I'm not worried about, finishing first anymore. If it happens, it happens. But, we had a chance. We cheated ourselves out of it. Big deal. I mean, we're still in the playoffs. There's still a great chance for us to go to the Grey Cup, and we got to look at it that way.
All right, we're just about out of time on Riders 88. I think Tom Burgess put it very well in the capsule right there, John. Going in against Ottawa, we can expect basically the same thing against Calgary. They're going for broke here.
Let's go win Sunday.
Okay. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us, and best of luck against the Ottawa Roughriders this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Riders 88, and we'll see you again, same time, same channel next week. Good night.
This was tops in the CFL against the pass during the regular season, and they'll be put to the test on Sunday against the BC Lions, who scored 40 or more points in their final 3 regular season games.
We got to stop Cherry, we got to stop Parker in there, and then hopefully make Mac Dunnigan throw the ball. And then if he's going to throw it, then we got to stop David Williams outside. And I think it's going to end up coming down to a one-on-one challenge with Harry Skipper and Mike Magruder.
After 40 yards, he starts picking it up and putting it back down mighty quickly. And that's when I have to stay on him and just be step for step with him and jump a little earlier than he jumps so that I can get that 5 inches that he has over me and even it up that way.
Well, David Hurts is on the deep ball, and then occasionally they may throw the little short hits, and they'll try to just get the ball in his hands, let him run with it. But I don't think he's been effective as with the little short stuff as with the deep ball. A lot of times, BC, they don't like to work, to get to where they're going. They want to just get the all at one time. So if we can just make them get 5 here, 5 there, just kind of work. Eventually, we think Matt would maybe get impatient and throw it in and stuff, make a few mistakes.
Sometimes you can double cover him, but then somebody else can be open. So that's a decision on the coaches. But I feel the confidence in our defensive backfield that any one of us can cover him man to man all game, especially with the pressure that our D line is getting. So we feel that we can play him man-to-man.
Well, if he's to the wide side of the field, we're looking at just playing our regular stuff. If he's into the short side of the field, then we'll probably try to run some kind of a double scheme on him where we'll get a...
Hey, it's playoff football Sunday at Taylor Field. Everyone, and welcome to Riders 88. I'm Ron Rimmer. Along with us tonight, of course, as always, Coach John Gregory and the record-breaking kicker, Mr. David Ridgway. Gentlemen, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ron, and congratulations to Dave. And it was a lot of fun. We had a hard time getting it there, but we finally got it.
We'll get to that in just a few moments. First of all, I want to ask both you guys, first of all, a perspective from the coaching staff. How does it feel heading into the playoffs?
Well, we're real excited about it. You know, we feel that our football team has come a long ways this year from last year, and I think that we're at a point right now where we can play on the field with any football team in the league on any given Sunday, and we're certainly looking forward to playing the BC Lions here this Sunday.
David, how about the players? How are they feeling?
Oh, it's great. It's real exciting. It's great to have these guys coming into our ballpark in front of our fans and with our weather. I'm sure that will be a factor that we can use to the positive side of things. But for the players, I know it's, you know, for the guys that have been around here a few years, it's a great thing to have coming up. I know for a few of us, it's our first playoff game.
You mentioned first playoff game, and I think that's very important. Hugh Campbell said to me a couple of years ago when the Eskimos were making their first trip back to the Grey Cup, he said after they lost, you got to knock on the door before you can knock it over. How much of that is true? There's so many guys, the first time they're going into the playoffs here.
Well, I think we've paid our dues as far as knocking on the door. We knocked on the door a lot last year and didn't come through with a lot of wins. We knocked on the door this year. We came through with a lot of wins. We've paid our dues. We've been in all the tough ball games that you could be in, and I don't think there's anything that would surprise us in this game. And I think we've learned to play through most situations.
All right, and of course there is always the BC Lions to contend with, one of the hottest clubs in the CFL right now. Warren Woods has more in this report.
The BC Lions have peaked at just the right time. They've won 3 in a row and 5 of their last 6. Thanks to a high-powered and well-balanced offense. Quarterback Matt Dunnigan and Shenley finalist David Williams are the principal players in that scheme. They could come up with the big play at any time, but the Riders can't afford to concentrate solely on those two.
Well, I think stop Dunnigan, stop Williams, but then I think you got Sherry and Parker are both excellent running backs, and I think that they have a pretty complete offense. There isn't just one phase you have to stop. You got to stop the whole thing, and that'll be difficult, but I think we do have a fine defense, and I think our defense is well coached, and they will be well prepared.
The Leos have also put their game together defensively. Guys like Quick Parker, Mac Moore, and middle linebacker Jeff Braswell have been tough on opposing quarterbacks in recent weeks. To neutralize them, the Rider offense will have to do an effective job in reading the blitzes. Another potential threat to the Riders is their playoff inexperience. Many have never seen postseason action. It'll be up to players who have been there, the Classens, Goldsmiths, and Halls, to help settle the club down.
Offense, defense, special teams, these are areas that teams can control, but there's one factor they can't do anything about, and that is the weather. There are many in Regina who think that cold weather, along with a good, strong prairie wind, and yes, even a little snow, will go a long way in shutting down that potent Lions offense.
Taylor Field in November with 30,000 playoff star fans is about the last place a visiting club wants to be, especially the Lions, who aren't noted as a good cold weather team. However, there are mixed feelings as to how the elements may affect the game.
Well, I think the colder the better. I think if it was minus 50, there's a lot of guys here that would be a little cold too, but you know, when you practice in it and you're used to it, and it's that Saskatchewan tough, and get the wind blowing a little bit too, so you get a wind chill factor, and get the field a little slippery, and maybe that'll neutralize some of their strength.
It doesn't matter to me. You know, they say we want it really cold because BC doesn't like cold weather, but hell, BC's been in plenty of games this time of year, you know, in bad weather places, and they've done well, so, you know, it doesn't matter to me either way. I just hope that everything works out right and we win the game.
What everyone does seem to agree on is that these two clubs are pretty evenly matched, and special teams plus the war in the trenches will probably determine which one goes to Edmonton for the Western Final. I'm Warren Woods for Riders 88.
Coach, you doing any snow dances or cold dances at home? Does it really make that much of a difference?
I'm like Ray Algard. I really don't care what it's like. I don't think it matters in with this football team. And the thing I think that matters is that they are playing in Taylor Field, and we have established that when you come to this place, that you're going to know you're in a hell of a battle.
Okay, questions or comments for Coach Gregory or David Ridgway on his fine, superlative season here in the CFL? Give us a call at 721-2351. We'll be back right after this.
Want a real pizzeria style pizza just down McKinley. Real mozzarella, it's a must. Lots of toppings, a tender crust, real pizzeria style pizza just
pie that flies. Take out taste, stay at home price. Real pizzeria style pizza just down the chain. Wow!
The late Lorne Green spent a good part of his life working to preserve the world wilderness areas. And above all, he was committed to teaching future generations the lessons of the wild. Something as strong as the intricate world of animals is now yours to discover, to be enjoyed by the whole family. Distributed by Quality Special Products, New Wilderness is now available through retail outlets.
Turn to us, we're making it happen, showing it, doing it, keeping in touch. Turn to us, we're the beat of the city, reaching out, tuning in, where the magic begins.
The magic of our community. It's something that good-looking STV feels great pride to take part in. With extensive public awareness campaigns, quality community programming, a fresh approach to local news coverage, and some of the largest, most entertaining community events. Saskatchewan is a great place to be, and we're proud to be part of it.
It's all here, turn to us, good-looking STV.
Welcome back to Riders 88. Coach Gregory and David Ridgway along with us, and you just saw David's record-breaking convert there it was, and some thoughts on the season, David. It's just been a heck of a good one. Last year, I remember at the end of the year, you were saying, geez, it can't get much better than this, and you surpassed all of those things.
You know, a lot of those things are reflected in the way that the team does as a whole. Without the success of the defense stopping the other guys and our offense moving into a position to score TDs in the second to get us in position to kick field goals. Without everybody, you know, it's a real team effort, and it's a team game. It always has been that way and always will be that way. For me, you know, those figures that I can rack up, a lot of them go to other guys on the team, and, you know, the big guy that helps me a lot is Glenn. Without Glenn being there, I certainly wouldn't have had the type of year that I've had. We have a lot of fun back there. 55 field goals, though. Did you ever think that there would be that? I mean, that's a lot of field goals. That's a lot of kicks. You know, I tell you what, I like to be out there. I love to go on the field, and I love to give those field goals a shot. When I walk on the field, I expect to make it. So I suppose I'm my own toughest critic when I go out there. If I miss, I'm pretty uptight about it. You look forward to getting into situations, though. I think we've talked about this before. You've won games for the team this year with all your field goals that you've kicked, but you haven't been in that situation last play of the game yet where you go out in the field and kick the winner, do you? Not this year, but one of the things that I gather some sort of inner strength from is the fact that there have been games where the other teams had a 2-point lead. We need the field goal to get ahead before the half. They go out and kick the field goal. Or we need 1 point. You know, they get a field goal, and we got to go back out. And it's a challenge every time you go out. Every situation, whenever you go on the field, it's a pressure situation. And the same for every guy that puts a helmet on and walks on the field. So it's never relaxing. You don't ever relax when you go on the field. It's a challenge every time you go on. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Hi, Riders 88, go ahead.
Yeah, I got a comment, got a question.
Go ahead.
I think they're blowing BC out of proportion. Like they're saying how hot they are, and then we need the bad weather to beat them. I think that's all kind of hoopla or something. Also, I think a question for John. Was this the plan for you to take the Riders to playoffs within 2 years, or what was it like when you first came in?
Well, I think we're a little bit ahead of where I thought we'd be, to tell you the truth. I thought our first year it was a matter of sorting out personnel and trying to get our offense in and get our defense in and get Dave Ridgway back here and you know, so the first year I was sure the first year was going to be a struggle. I thought this year we'd have a chance to make the playoffs, but when I saw the way our team played last year from an emotion standpoint and how hard we tried, I thought we had a 50-50 chance of making, or I thought we'd make the playoffs. I'd tell you that. And I told the squad before the season started in our first meeting, I said, let's forget that bit about just making the playoffs. let's shoot for first place. And we did.
Yeah, thank you for a second, and it's good to really see it than just to pick it at the start of the year. Thanks.
Thank you very much for your call. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Hi, Coach.
Yeah.
It's great to see you guys back in there again.
Great feeling for us.
And what kind of shape is Kent Austin in?
Oh, I think he's in very good shape. You know, I think that, you know, he's testing himself every day on the field and whatever, and I think I would say he's very close to 100%.
You're not going to start him, no?
No, you know, I think that the thing that I think that would be a big mistake, because Tommy Burgess has played super, and I think it would be a kick in the face to him.
Yeah.
And also, Tommy Burgess has been on the field, and if you look at a guy like Damon Allen and see all the rust that he's picked up in the time that he's been out, and I think that we'll go in there with Tommy, but certainly we're not afraid to put Kent in there at any time.
I happen to agree with you. And Dave?
Yes.
How's your leg going?
My leg's doing fine. It's had a lot of work this year, so it feels good.
The girls from Desk and Dare Club say that. Congratulations.
So the girls, thank you. That's a long story.
From what club?
The Desk and Dare Club. It's a club that I spoke at.
Oh, great. Thanks very much for the call.
Goodbye.
Okay. Go ahead, you're on Riders 88.
Yes, I have a question for Coach Gregory.
Yeah.
I'd like to know on the punt, like say when Saskatchewan's punting on third down, and the special teams run down the field to converge on the run backs, and in this case with BC probably be Drawhorn and Crawford.
Well, Crawford is questionable, but if Crawford's not in there, they'll have Rivers in there, and he's very good.
Yeah, my question is, in the CFL, you're supposed to allow the 5 yards.
Yeah.
Now, would it be in the best interest of the riders to not give that 5 yards and to kind of take away the possible big run back?
By doing?
By, say, just closing in around the
I think he's saying take the penalty.
Yeah, just take the penalty, you're saying?
Yeah, right, just take the penalty.
Well, I tell you what,
5 yards.
you know, I tell you what, when they're going with the wind or when they're going against the wind, 15 yards means a lot of difference. And I think we're good enough if we can punt the ball where it's supposed to be punted. And what we'll try to do is we'll try to put the ball in to the numbers or inside the numbers toward the sideline. And or if they're playing clear over that sideline and Terry has the wind at his back, then he'll angle it for the far corner and make them run to try and pick it up. And if he punts the ball the way he's punted at the last 2 ball games, and we've changed a few cover guys in there, we can cover the punts. So I think we'll just go down and we'll play it the way it's supposed to be done and try to get the job done legitimately. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I see. And I would just like to say that I hope that the riders can sustain their drives so that if we can't get the touchdown, when possible, to get as many field goals.
Oh, don't worry about that. I'm good for that. I look at Dave, and if he gives me the dot, he's on there. And most of the time, he's already headed out on the field. So we have a lot of confidence in Dave, and you know those 3 points build up a lot during a game.
Yeah, I have one more question.
Yep.
Sometimes it seems that in the CFL we always try to go for the long bomb all the time. And if we can get a sustained running game going, then we could grind it out against BC.
Well, I think that we showed that last week. I think we're the first in the league in rushing or second. Tim McRae had 142 yards last week. So yeah, we'll do what we need to do to win the ball game.
Sure, great.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for the call. Go ahead, you're on Riders 88.
Yes, I have a question for Dave.
Yeah.
Do you think he has enough seasons left to possibly beat Cutler's record?
You know, in all honesty, I don't even think I've got started yet. This is on my 7th year, and I don't feel any different physically or mentally than when I started 7 years ago. So I plan on playing as long as I can. I live and die for this game. I really enjoy playing football, and as long as I can keep making the field goals to a high percentage, high enough that it will keep me in professional football, we'll give it a shot.
Okay?
Thanks
for the call.
He'll get Cutler's record, I guarantee you that.
Which of the records mean the most? You said last year that you didn't think anything could happen that would make you feel better than that 60-yarder.
Well, you know, that one is kind of, it comes down to physical. The one that made me feel real good this year was getting the points record, because without the team doing well, you have absolutely no chance of ever attaining those type of records. So, to get 215 points and to get 47 of those from touchdowns, that means we scored, 49 or 50 TDs this year, and that's a lot of touchdowns. The offense is moving the ball. But when it came down to the last minute, I wasn't sure whether we were going to get that, but when I came back off the sideline from the one that we had the problem with, Coach actually said, we will get you a shot at that 1 point. So I appreciated that, purely because, again, to duplicate that kind of year would be tough.
All right, we've got to take another break on Riders 88. Questions or comments for John or David, give us a call, 721-2351. We're back after this.
You give your hand,
the beautiful voice,
and then you say goodbye.
Of Roger Whittaker.
I watch you walk away beside the lucky guy. I saw the harbor.
Now you can enjoy the world-famous voice of Roger Whittaker in his all-new collection, Best Loved Ballads.
Is your heart filled with pain? Shall I come back again? Tell me, dear, are you lonesome tonight? Lay your head.
Roger's rich, warm voice is captured in every song, all specially recorded for this brand new 2-record treasury.
Hey, did you happen to see the most beautiful girl in the world? And she believes in me. Memories all alone in the moonlight. I'll be seeing you.
Remember, this beautiful all-new 2-record treasury is not sold in any store.
While I give to you and you give to me.
Stay tuned to order now.
Use your credit card for fast delivery and call Regina at 757-8424. Or save COD charges by sending $14.98 plus $3 postage and handling to Roger Whittaker, Box 663, Regina. Call now. Operators are waiting for your call. Remember, this offer could end without notice. So call Regina now at 757-8424.
We're back on Riders 88. We've got a number of calls on the line. We're going to get to them right now. Hi, go ahead. You're on Riders 88.
Hi. First of all, I'd like to congratulate you on a good season.
Thank you.
I'd like to direct the question to the coach,
Mm-hmm.
if he's the person to ask this to or not. But, through good and bad times, the Riders have always filled the stands. Probably we've had the least amount of empty seats out of anybody. And, we have a very small city in comparison to some of the teams. I'm going to the game, but I don't think I just wonder why that, you wouldn't lift the band, for Saskatchewan people to see it. It'd help the older people, the people out of town, and probably, the people that...
Yeah, it's one of those things, it's one of those catch-22 deals, and it might be the thing to do at this point in time, but for the future, for next year, then it might not be the thing to do, or the next year, or by that I'm saying is that...
You're afraid to scare off fans, maybe?
Well, yeah, the fan will say, well, there's a few clouds in the sky. I guess we won't go to the game today. We'll just watch it on TV.
That's true, but I know that you got people that own bars, and they just have people reeling in there, and...
Oh, I know, the pirating you're talking about, and
I think, it'd just be fair if, people...
Well, it's a matter of economics, and it's one of our 10... it's one of the things that I think it's just one of the things you have to do, and I don't know if we'll ever get to the point. When we have that thing sold out on season tickets, which I think, is, you know, that's a possibility. Then something like that might be possible. But I think right now we have to protect ourselves.
Super. I'll be there. I wish you all the best.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for the call. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Yes, I'd like to congratulate you on the game on Sunday. I think it was one of the best games I've seen this year, not just from the team point of view, but from the referee's point of view.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, they kind of just let everybody play. Yeah, I thought that the officials did work a good ball game. I really did.
yeah, I was, me and my friend were really impressed by it. There wasn't that many flags thrown, which is unusual in a football game.
Yeah, they just kind of let them play and called the obvious stuff. So, yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
So, you guys are going to win on Sunday, so I hope we're going to be coming down to Edmonton to see you guys playing in Edmonton.
Great.
Okay. Thanks for the call.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Go ahead. You're on Riders 88.
Hi, Coach.
Hi.
The Riders made some really good trades this year. You got Goldsmith and Hall, and you dealt Giftopoulos to Hamilton. How many first and second round draft picks does that leave us with next year?
At this point in time, we have 2 first-round picks, and we have the first choice in the second round, and then so we have 4 in the first 2 rounds.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks very much. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Yeah, I was just wondering if we're going to see any tricks out of the old bag against BC on Sunday.
Well, we've got some good trick plays in there that Dave, we've been working on. We just need to find the right place to call them. I had one called over at Calgary, and we ended up on the wrong hash mark. But we've got a couple of dandies in there. But I think that we don't need to count. We shouldn't try to count on trick plays to win the football game. Let's win it legitimately, and the trick plays are to have fun.
Well, if it comes down to getting desperate situation or something, it might be the thing to do, eh?
Yep.
And I'd just like to say congratulations to Dave. It's a great season. Great.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's got to be hard, though, when you've got David Ridgway out there to go for a fake field goal.
Well, that's true. Really, we really don't think too much about fake field goals because we know we have him on the field. He's going to get 3 points in there, and then, you know, he can head from 50. We get over the mid stripe, we got a good chance to score again. So, boy, it makes you think twice.
Would you like to, though, drop back and throw a touchdown pass?
Not particularly. I've seen the way the quarterbacks get up, so we like the situation the way it is. I don't even like to see Glenn get banged around out there.
All right. Hi, Riders 88, go ahead.
Yes, congratulations, John, and the whole team.
Thank you.
Especially to Dave Ridgway, which is the good-looking gentleman sitting on the left.
Oh, wait a minute.
Well, that might be the... Thank you.
And to Harry Skipper for breaking a record.
Yeah, we were happy about that also.
And I was listening to Sportsline earlier on the radio, and they haven't sold all the tickets. So come on, you're Rider fans. You waited for this. Now get out there. Skidoo suits.
Well, you know, I think that's I'm glad you asked that question and made that statement. And there are lots of seats available. We have... the city has brought in bleachers, and there's all kinds of tickets. And
that's what I heard. And like I said, I'm a Rider rep, and I really push for this.
It needs to be. We need to have a record crowd there. I want to see a new record set this weekend in that field. I don't want BC to be able to hear their snap count, because that's what they do when we play out there at place. Our guys, nobody can hear the snap count, nobody can hear the audibles, and that's the way I want it for them.
Well, that's what I said. Come on, all you folks, get some. You got winter clothes, put them on and get out there.
Hey, it won't be cold, I guarantee you. It'll be a warm game.
If you get warm enough, the game's good. You get in the spirit, you don't get cold at these games.
Right.
Good.
Thanks very much for calling, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, Riders 88, go ahead.
Hello. Congratulations to a great season, John.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask 2 questions to
Sure.
both you and Dave.
Yeah.
How many footballs do you use in a game usually?
I think they have 7 footballs is the league number that they have out there, and then if it's wet or whatever, then I think they bring out some more.
And who do you usually give the footballs to after you're done the game?
Well, I'll let Dave
Actually, what
decide
happens,
how they do that, because he's involved in that.
What happens, the captains following the game, they usually select 1 or 2, and we've had occasions this year where we've had 3 people. And what they do is they give out what we call game balls, and anybody that's had a particularly good game, they will get it as a reward. And it's quite an honor to receive a game ball. Otherwise, the balls that are not used simply go into the bags for practice. You'd be surprised how many footballs we actually go through in the course of a year, because
they hit the bleachers, they hit the concrete. They get tore up pretty easily.
Okay?
Yeah, and I'd like to say, could you say hi to the Rider team for me?
I will.
Sure.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks for your call. We're running out of time here at Riders 88. We've got to take another break. If we have a number of calls still on the line, if John doesn't get you before the show is over, he will talk to you after, so stay on the lines. We're going to take a break and be back right after this.
The Dranger, a high-tech home product recently introduced in Popular Science magazine. The Dranger, a chemical-resistant rubber flange that fits easily into your floor drain. It prevents radon gas from seeping into your basement. It also prevents mold spores as well as noxious fumes, odors, and insects from entering your home through the floor drain. Radon gas, colorless, odorless, a naturally occurring form of radiation that seeps into your home through the floor drain. Proved on average to be more hazardous to your health than exhaust fumes or smoke. Safeguard your home from this ominous gas by installing the Dranger. It protects without restricting the flow of water. Simple step-by-step instructions make this economical device extremely easy to install. As an additional benefit, the Dranger, as stated in Popular Science, is an aid in energy conservation. A savings on your home heating bills can be noticed by this simple method of preventing cold air from entering through the floor drain. Improvement and a healthy atmosphere in the home are your concern. Take the easy, effective, and most economical step to ensuring a safe, clean environment for you and your family. Get the Dranger, available also in industrial size. Now for the low price of only $19.95 for the 2 to 8-inch size drain, or $29.95 for the 8 to 12-inch size. Note these safeguarding advantages. Energy conservation, prevents insects, mold spores, and odors, prevents deadly radon gas from entering your home. Please stand by to order.
Up to 40% of the homes in Regina have unacceptable radon gas levels. Visa, MasterCard, COD charges, call 306-569-1321. Or save COD charges by sending $19.95 for 2 to 8-inch size, or $29.95 for the 8 to 12-inch size, plus $3 shipping and handling to Dranger, P.O. Box 124, Regina, Saskatchewan. Call now. Operators are standing by. Remember, this offer could end without notice.
All right, playoff football coming up Sunday at Taylor Field. John, how much do the BC Lions worry you? They are a different football team than the one that you beat twice this year.
Oh, I think that, I think they're basically the same football team, Ron. They were a very, very formidable opponent. And we had great games with them, both games. The first game, what was it, 30?
It was a 4-point game. And
36, 34.
Yeah, and then we had a 3-point game.
And
so
a 3-point game here. So it's going to be a barn burner. We're going to win.
Okay, gentlemen, good luck this weekend, and I hope to be talking to you next week about the Edmonton Eskimos.
Thank you very much, Ron.
All right, and thank you for joining us on Riders 88. We'll see you next week, same time, same channel. Good night.
Sports Journal with Dale Isaac.
Good evening, football fans throughout the province of Saskatchewan. Welcome to Sports Journal on the eve of the biggest football game this province has played host to in about a dozen years. Tonight, John Gregory is here to talk about tomorrow's semifinal at Taylor Field. We had hoped to have Larry Donovan, the BC coach, with us as well, but a team meeting has taken him back to the hotel, so he's unable to join us at this time. The winner, of course, tomorrow goes to Edmonton. Next week, we'll also have tonight the unveiling of the Riders' rap video. But we're going to be back with the head coach in just a moment.
Rich man, poor man.
returns, starting November 13th. One of the world's oldest and youngest musical traditions is coming to the Center of the Arts Tuesday, November 22nd, Austria's inimitable Vienna Choir Boys. The Vienna Choir Boys have delighted audiences around the world for nearly 5 centuries. The Vienna Choir Boys at the Center of the Arts. Tickets available at the Center of the Arts box office.
Sports Journal presents another exciting sports travel contest with Dash Tours. A trip for 2 to the 88 Grey Cup in Ottawa. Fly via Air Canada November 25th to our nation's capital and enjoy 3 days of Cup festivities and, of course, the game. Downtown accommodations and game tickets included. To qualify for this trip, send the answer to the following question. Who wears number 61 on the Saskatchewan Roughriders? Send your answer to Sports Journal, CKTV Box 2000, Regina, Saskatchewan, S4P3E5. 1 entry per person, please. Letters must be postmarked. Draw date for the Grey Cup, Saturday, November 19th on Sports Journal. And if you don't want to miss the Grey Cup game in '88, why not call Dash Tours anytime, 24 hours a day at 1-800-667-8088.
Tickets are still available for tomorrow's semifinal at Taylor Field, so the ticket office will open about 9 o'clock in the morning. John, you're not going to be selling tickets, but there's going to be a big crowd there for what is an important game.
I think it's really important for us to get as many people there as we can, and hopefully all the areas, they have put in some extra bleachers for the game, and I think those seats are available.
There's been a lot of talk all week long about let's hope the Riders get some bad weather because it maybe would be to their benefit. Do you agree with that philosophy at all?
No, I don't. Whatever the weather is fine. I don't think it'll be that big a factor either way. We're certainly well prepared to play in anything we get, and I'm sure that the BC Lions have spent a lot of time preparing as well.
Health-wise, are you ready?
I think so. The only guys we have dented, really, our Suter is still about 90%, and of course, Bregiani has a rib injury, and we've replaced him with David Conrad, who is now healthy again, so that's about it.
Kent Austin is back on the roster. He will not start the game, but I understand he is fully capable of playing if you want to use him.
Kent is full speed, and he's ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Tommy Burgess, the way he's played the last month of the season, are you satisfied that he can do the job for you?
Oh, there's no question. I think either one of our quarterbacks can go in and do a very, very good job. We have confidence in both of them, and I expect Tommy to play very well.
You've beaten the BC Lions twice this season, once out there, once here. Both games were very close. What do you think you need to beat the hottest team in the West tomorrow?
Well, the BC Lions have played. I think that their coaching, they have an excellent coaching staff. Those coaches, I know all of them very, very well. Larry and I go back a long ways, back to South Dakota. Vez and I work together over in Winnipeg. Steve Brotto, I think, is an excellent coach. Ron Smeltzer, I think, is an excellent offensive line coach. I think they have an excellent staff, and I know that they will be very, very well prepared for the game tomorrow.
Matt Dunnigan, of course, is back in their lineup. That's a big, important step for them.
Well, Matt is a great player. There's no question about that, and we have to try to control Matt. I don't think you can stop him totally. I think we have to try and control him.
One of the players that they're worried about, from your point of view, is Ray Elgart.
Well, I think that they should be, because Ray has had a great year for us. He's played very well this year, played very well last year. He's a 100% guy, and, you know, if you get him one-on-one, somebody's got to make a heck of a tackle on him to bring him down.
The fact that your football team is basically brand new to playoff football, what kind of a week has it been? Have you noticed a big difference in the locker room?
Well, I think our guys have been very loose, and hopefully it's not a false thing. I don't think it is. I think that I think when we beat Toronto, I think we got over that hump of choking. And a lot of people say, well, the Hamilton game and the Calgary game. But if you look at the Hamilton game and the Calgary game, we really outplayed both those teams. And some special teams things that happened to us cost us the ball game. So I don't think our team will choke tomorrow. I think that they'll be very, very well prepared, and I think we'll be intense, but I don't think we'll be tense.
I know going into any game, you really don't know how your team is, or if it is ready. Do you have any kind of feeling right now after today's practice?
You know, Dale, you and I talked about that earlier. I've said before, hey, this team is ready to play, you know, the day before the game, and went out and stunk the place up. And we've gone out the day before and couldn't do anything right, and went out and played the best games I've ever seen. So I think our team is very loose. I think they're very relaxed, and I think we'll play very well tomorrow.
All right. Let me ask you this one point, because when looking at the two teams, it's one area that kind of stood out as far as I was concerned, maybe that you're lacking a little bit, is that you don't have playoff experience at quarterback or any of your receiving positions. Do you worry about that?
Well, I'm sure it's a thing that goes through our minds, but our guys, again, have played very well, and we've played 20 games, so tomorrow is another game. It's a very important game, but I expect those guys to play and play well.
Home field advantage, is it, in the playoffs?
Well, hopefully. You know, if you look at the CFL and you look at the records of the various teams at the various parks, you know, I think that if we were going into BC Place, we'd certainly feel that the home park was an advantage, and we feel that people coming into our park, we feel it's an advantage as well.
Okay, John, stand by. We'll be back with you in just a few moments, but we want to close out this portion of Sports Journal with the world broadcast premiere of the new Saskatchewan Roughrider music video, 11 Years is Enough.
While the rains fall down, who could ask for a better day? The drought was broken as the sun came out to chase the dark clouds away. The green looks brighter than it has for years. We like when it feels this way. Turn your eyes to the sky, put your hands in the air, throw your head way back and say 11 years. That's enough. 11 Move to Joshua, headed on down the line. They're long gone, but the gang's all here with John, and that's just fine. Ronnie and George and all the rest are names from another time. They're from yesterday, but the memories will always be yours and mine. 11 years, that's enough. 11 years, that's enough. For a long, long time in Saskatchewan, since we've been playoff bound. Aldag and Alford are the only ones that were there and still around. Way back then, we were flying high, our feet didn't touch the ground. Then came 88, ain't it great when you start to hear that sound? 11 years, that's enough. 11 years, that's enough. Far too long, but there is no point in stopping to wonder why. We just sit back and watch real close to see how high we'll fly. You're part of it, you all can help. It's really simple to try. You know the words, just close your eyes and shout it to the sky. 11 years, that's enough. 11 years,
great. Oh, super. Oh. All right.
Bay Day has arrived, but it will last for 9 days only. 9 incredible days of savings. The most spectacular store-wide sales event of the season. Bay Day. It's just too good to miss.
Regina Hospital's Home Lottery 2 is the biggest and best ever, but this is it. Time is running out. Don't delay. Get your tickets now for a chance to win one of 300 great prizes. Tickets must be purchased by midnight November 22nd to be eligible for the draw November 24th. The chances of winning are good. Only 8,000 tickets will be sold, but they're going fast. Get yours now by mail or at any of these outlets. Visa and MasterCard orders, call these numbers now. Help our hospitals help us all.
The Saskatchewan Drama Association is dedicated to developing child and youth drama, providing educational and performance-based opportunities for youth of all ages. Drama is used in the classroom as a strategy to understand other subjects or as a credit class. SDA sponsors workshops, conferences, and in-service training to assist volunteers. An awareness and appreciation of theater are provided while attending local plays and regional and provincial festivals. For more information, contact the Saskatchewan Drama Association today.
Win over $25,000 in prizes in Dash Tours' Decade of Tours promotion, including 2 free trips for 2 anywhere in the world. To enter, just join us on our next tour. Join us in Ottawa November the 27th for this year's Grey Cup game. Complete tour packages include return airfare, deluxe hotel accommodation, reserved Grey Cup tickets, and all ground transfers are available for booking now. Plan now to show your rider pride at this year's Grey Cup game. Call Dash Tours today at 352-2222 for all the details on our 11th annual Grey Cup tour.
There are about a dozen players with the Roughriders who have playoff experience, albeit with other CFL teams, and we have some comments from most of them about playoff football. Roger Aldag has never actually played in a playoff game, but he was with the 1976 Roughriders, and he's the only rider that has a link with the glory years. Even Roger, though, looks to others that have seen postseason action.
Guys like Rick Clausen, Vince Goldsmith can help relax the little guy a little bit. Just take it upon as another game, another league game. That's how we got to look forward to, just another game. It's a game where if you lose, it's all over, but we just got to look upon as just another game and play relax and play good football.
Obviously, staying loose so you can perform your best is probably the biggest key, because when you get to this point, whoever you're going to play, they're pretty good, or they're doing something that's good enough to be there. So we want to do what we do well, and we want to do it a little better.
It's a one-shot thing, and guys got to realize that it's a one-shot thing, because I've been on the losing end twice, and it's not very nice going back home and knowing that it's over and you had a chance to maybe go all the way.
Each player is going out trying to put in his finest performance of the season and just trying to give his utmost for his teammates, trying not to let them down.
You played hard all year and you worked for, getting to the playoff. And I think everybody this week will be excited, and, for those who've never been there, I think it'll be an experience for them.
I think you got a lot more pressure on you when it comes to a playoff game, because during the regular season, if you lose a game, you just go back and prepare for the next week. Whereas now, if you lose, it's over.
Try not to put too much pressure upon yourself, more than what's already might be there. But, try to stay as calm as you can, but just play as hard and don't save anything for the next week, because there might not be a next week.
You're there for that game only, and you're not looking down the road any more than that. So every play is the biggest play of the game.
It's the last game you play. That's the way you have to approach it, and you just give it your all, and it's real simple, and if you're fortunate to get to this stage, you have to give it your all anyway, and I feel confident about the game this weekend myself, but I think a lot of people we're the underdogs. We don't have nothing to lose, so that's the perfect position for us.
The crowd's been good, a big fan support. The turf makes a big difference for us, especially if it's wet. If it's windy, we like to have it here at home.
I'm glad we get to play at home in front of our fans, because the way Taylor Field is, the fans, they play a big part in the game. Maybe taking the team out or getting us up when maybe we'll get down. And I think concentrating on what we have to do
and executing it will probably be the biggest key because, like I said, there's nobody that's that much better than anybody else. It's just a matter of executing.
Specifically this weekend is the Lions and Matt Dunnigan. Matt hasn't been saying anything about you this year. Has that kind of been put in the background, the little feud you and Matt had going?
Well, the feud hasn't been put in the background. I think when this game starts this weekend, you're going to see the intensity of every feud that I've been in, come out in me. This is a game that I like to be involved in. It's for all the marbles in essence because there's no tomorrow after this one.
There's a lot of guys in here that have played a playoff game before, but not with this team. Is that noticeable?
Well, yeah. There's quite a few guys that have never played a playoff game, and that's real noticeable. You can just tell who has and who hasn't just from their general behavior throughout the week. But I think they're looking at us thinking we're crazy, but we've been there before. We really know what it takes, and hopefully they can learn something from us.
Okay, we've been hearing from the players on the Rough Riders, except for Dan Rasovic and Brian Illerban, who have playoff experience with other CFL teams. What about the coaching staff? You have playoff experience and a Grey Cup victory with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Does it make a difference for the coaches?
Oh, I think it's important to having been through it. I really do. I look at our staff, and really all of our staff has had playoff experience with the exception of Gary Hoffman. So we're not rookies going into this playoffs deal.
Okay. And now, because Larry Donovan isn't with us here in studio, we have a report on the Lions, and John McKeechee from our affiliate in Vancouver, BCTV, reports.
They met twice during the regular season, the rebuilt Green Machine winning both games. Ray Elgard, the thorn in the side both times. In the 36-32 decision here in September, he scored 3 touchdowns. The return match a month later in Regina, he scored only 1, but it was a 75-yard backbreaker in a 28-25 victory.
A big touchdown on a blitz. We need to get him shut down. There's no doubt about that.
And what are you going to do about it?
Well, we're going to assign the defensive people to him in our man-to-man coverage, and we're going to challenge him. And I think that the people that we have there will challenge him.
The Lions didn't have Marcus Thomas or Jeff Braswell that day, nor Matt Dunnigan, nor much of a running game. But Anthony Parker knows it'll be a factor this time.
The biggest factor is to stop those guys from getting that upfield penetration, because that's what they do better than probably any team in the league. And if we can stalemate them at the line of scrimmage, I think Tony and myself can find a lane to get through. Once we get to the linebackers are not that big. Maybe Albright is probably the biggest of the three, and I think we can exploit them inside if we can just get their defensive linemen stalemated.
His partner in the backfield, as have the rest of the Leos, has been on a roll for the past 3 weeks. Anthony Cherry even racked up 107 yards rushing in the Taylor Field loss. And don't bet against it happening again. For the University of Oregon product, it's almost like a home field advantage.
Yeah, it's called OmniTurf, and it's not many in North America. I was fortunate enough to play on it in college, and I like it because it gives more. It's more like natural turf, so it has sand in it as opposed to nothing like this turf. So, it gives more, it's softer, and it's good for all kinds of weather conditions.
So it'll be wet in Oregon, but it could be frozen in Regina, and you're saying it won't make any difference?
Well, I played in Eugene and had a game that was freezing, played against Oregon State, and it was about 9 degrees. Yeah. They had water to the field before the game, because they usually do that in the summer, and they kept doing it. I don't know why, but they had to break the ice off it, and half the field's ice for the game, and, you just have to compensate. You have to know what you can and what you can't do. You can't just act like it's a perfect day. You have to know what's happening out there.
You've had a few perfect days lately.
No, I wouldn't say perfect. Perfect day would come when we get the Grey Cup.
And oh yes, the kicking game. Louis Pasaglia says punting might be a factor only because conditions might dictate more of it than place kicking. Trick plays might be a byproduct by necessity more than design.
I've never been to Regina for a playoff game, and I've heard some weird stories, and I've watched some weird games. I remember Ronnie Lancaster in his days playing Calgary in a blinding snowstorm in the 2-game total point series back in the, I think, early 70s, and you never know. If we get conditions like that, it's going to be a wild one.
All right, Louis Pasaglia be heavily involved in the BC side of the kicking game, John. Do you think kicking game is going to be that important tomorrow?
Oh, I think that's going to be one of the very critical parts of the game. The BC Lions are if you pick a team that's superb in special teams, it's them. They just do a great job. Bob Vespasiani ran our special teams over in Winnipeg, did a heck of a job there. But I think our special teams are pretty good, too. We've improved them over the last couple of games, changed some personnel, and we'll be very competitive on the kicking game.
Okay, we're going to take another break, but first it's time now for our plays of the week.
John Elway of the Denver Broncos intercepted by this Kansas City defensive tackle. The Ben Johnson Award to this guy. He's very, very slow. It takes forever to return, steroids or not. The hit of the week, ex-Hamilton Tiger Cat Felix Wright, playing for Cleveland, hammers the Oilers' Drew Hill. Let's go to golf at the Nabisco. Curtis Strange with a long iron shot. One bounce and into the hole for the Eagles. Strange, the best short iron on the tour. David Frost lines up this putt. It just falls short. You can see the disappointment mirrored on his face, but his reaction changes as the wind blows the ball into the hole. Frost can't believe it. The move of the week in the National Hockey League, Rob Brown of the Pittsburgh Penguins on Ken Reggett of the Leafs. Ooh, Reggett's jock strap in row 10. Watch Pierre Turgeon check Jamie McCown from behind for Buffalo. A nifty little move here and scores. One of the best plays this week by Sabres, Pierre Turgeon. Now let's go to a super goal by Dennis Savard of the Chicago Blackhawks. He keeps the puck forever against Montreal, finally comes in the backhand, can't stuff it in, and comes around another try and finally pokes it home. He had the puck for about half an hour there and finally scores. Now the weirdest angle, Marcel Dion from the far corner at the goal line scores in Kelly Harudi. Rangers Marcel Dion from a very difficult angle. Ronnie Reagan, Gonzo is president, but can still shoot the puck. He beats Capitals' Pete Peters, and so does wife Nancy. The Islanders, Brent Sutter, unfortunately, accidental high stick on Rangers' Michel Petit, but in the crowd, this Geraldo Rivera impersonator says, hey, that's no big deal. Can't the guy take it? A tough cookie in the crowd. Ed Westfall with broadcasting jitters. Goalie Tom Barrasso with a butt end to the groin of Gary Roberts. That had to hurt. Finally, the hockey world saddened by the death of Father David Bauer, the founder of the modern Olympic hockey movement, who said it's not whether you win or lose, but how you play the game.
Throughout 1988, Ukrainians worldwide are commemorating 1,000 years of faith, the millennium of Ukrainian Christianity. The first Ukrainian pioneers settled the province in 1897. Along with courage, zest for honest labor, and hope for a better life, they brought a faith rich in spiritual heritage. Christianity was embraced by Ukrainians in 988 during the rule of Prince Volodymyr the Great. For 1,000 years, Christianity has been the source of strength, the inspiration in the evolution of Ukrainian culture and tradition. Тисячоліття хрещення України, the millennium of Ukrainian Christianity, a celebration of faith, a part of our Saskatchewan legacy.
You never really know how far you're going to get in this business. One day you're doing late night sports. The next day, broadcasting the Olympics. Some people think to make it really big in this business, you have to move to the States. Time now for a look at sports. The Moose Jaw Warriors have restructured their team in an effort to get back on the winning track. They just didn't know any better.
Regina Hospital's Home Lottery 2 is the biggest and best ever, but this is it. Time is running out. Don't delay. Get your tickets now for a chance to win one of 300 great prizes. Tickets must be purchased by midnight November 22nd to be eligible for the draw November 24th. The chances of winning are good. Only 8,000 tickets will be sold, but they're going fast. Get yours now by mail or at any of these outlets. Visa and MasterCard orders, call these numbers now. Help our hospitals, help us all.
Welcome back to Sports Journal. John, we just have time for you to tell us how badly the Riders are going to beat the Lions tomorrow at Taylor Field.
Well, we're excited about the ball game, and I think we have a good chance to win, and we just hope that we have a great crowd there tomorrow, and it's a lot of fun for everybody.
And that's very diplomatic of you. Your friend Larry Donovan would be pleased to hear you say that. Okay, good luck tomorrow,
Okay,
John.
thank you, Dale.
Okay, we're going to leave you with this rap video one more time because of the demand since we aired it earlier, and we'll see you tomorrow at Taylor Field. See you next week.
Touchdown! 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 drought was broken as the sun came out to shake the dark clouds away. The green looks brighter than it has for years. We like when it feels this way. Turn your eyes to the sky, put your hands in the air, throw your head way back and say 11 years. That's enough. 11 years. That's enough. Headed on down the line. They're long gone, but the gang's all here with John, and that's just fine. Ronnie and George and all the rest are names from another time. They're from yesterday, but the memories will always be yours and mine. 11 years. That's enough. 11 years. For a long, long time, Mr. Saskatchewan, since we've been playoff bound. All that Canal Fort are the only ones that were there and still around. Way back then, we were flying high, our feet didn't touch the ground. Then came 88, ain't it great when you start to hear that sound? 11 years, that's enough. 11 years, that's enough. Far too low, but there is no point in stopping to wonder why. We just sit back and watch real close to see how high we'll fly. You're part of it, you all can help. It's really simple to try. You know the word, just close your eyes and shout it to the sky. 11 years, that's enough. 11 years.
Roughriders today at Taylor Field. For the fans, it was an exhilarating season, a season where their Roughriders were contenders. But the euphoria going into this afternoon's Western Conference semifinal turned into disappointment as the Saskatchewan Roughriders went down at the hands of the Hungry Lions. Virginia Wilkinson reports.
For the past 11 years, Saskatchewan Roughrider fans have been waiting for a shot at the CFL playoffs, and they got that this weekend. Fans spent the last few days at pep rallies and rider parties, gearing up for the big game. According to team members, fan support had a lot to do with the team's success this year.
Without your support, this season could probably not have been possible. As Richie said, we're going to need your support through the next 3 games, not only this one, but especially the next 3.
As game time drew near, confidence among fans climbed.
By 20 points, easy. No
Why do you say that?
They're on an up-and-up momentum here, so they've been out of the playoffs too long, no problems.
No, it's a Regina win for sure.
Why do you say that?
Looking for it. Well, 11 years. It's got to be.
Regina's going to win all the way.
Why do you say that?
Because they've been playing really good games lately, and they're playing as a team, and we are all behind them.
Many felt there was no way the green and white could lose. But by the end of the third quarter, all this had changed. With the score sitting at 28-17 for the Lions, the stands began to empty. Rider fans were leaving not quite as happy as when they came.
I had my sign, I painted my face up for the Riders, and they blew it in the second half. Too many turnovers. You know, 3 turnovers doesn't win the game.
I am extremely let down. Extremely.
We're disappointed.
Like I would say, if I was Coach Gregory, I'd have brought Ken Austin in the game in the second half for sure.
We start off the beginning of the season, we would have been quite happy with a 3rd place finish. They did better. They exceeded our expectations. We were quite prepared to accept the loss. A win would have been nice, though.
So, for the first time in 11 years, the Saskatchewan Roughriders made it to the playoffs. But there it ended. This was a sad game for Roughrider fans who had dreams of seeing the Riders make it to the Western Division Finals for the first time in a decade. Virginia Wilkinson, CKCK TV News.
Welcome to Sunday Sports Wrap.
Good evening, everyone. On Sports Wrap tonight, a look at today's Western semifinal where the Riders hosted the BC Lions. As well, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have a date with the Toronto Argonauts next week. In the National Football League, Mike Ditka was on the sidelines as the Bears improved to 9 wins and 2 losses. And in hockey tonight, we have action from the Agrodome and the NHL. First of all, to the Riders. The 88th season ended today as the BC Lions rolled up a 42-18 win, advancing to the Western Final in Edmonton next Sunday. Lions running back Anthony Cherry scored 3 touchdowns and rushed for 184 yards as BC won for the 6th time in their last 7 starts. Turnovers played a big part as well, with the Lions advancing to the Western Final for the 6th consecutive year. The game's first turnover comes early in the game. BC's first punt, and the ball hits Joe Fuller's foot. Jamie Terrace recovers for the Lions, and BC is in scoring territory. From there, the Lions move the ball as Matt Denigan hits Eric Streeter on an 11-yard touchdown pass. It was 7-0 BC. Some 4 minutes later, the Riders are now driving, and they get a break. Tom Burgess's pass bounces off of Marcus Thomas's chest right to Jeff Fairholm. 2 plays later, Milson Jones barges over from 1 yard out, and the game is tied 7-7. On the Lions' next possession, running back Anthony Cherry is stripped of the ball by linebacker Eddie Lowe. Richie Hall recovers the ball at the BC 37-yard line. That leads to a Dave Ridgway 13-yard field goal. It was 10-7 Saskatchewan at the end of the first quarter. Early second quarter now, and quarterback Tom Burgess is under pressure. He runs out of the pocket, going for the first down. But he fumbles the ball. The Lions recover, and once again, a turnover would lead to more BC Lion points. Running back Anthony Cherry scores his first of 3 touchdowns on the afternoon, just squeezing inside the pylon, 14-10 Lions. Now 18-10 BC late in the second quarter when Burgess hooks up with James Ellingson on a 21-yard touchdown pass. This with only 5 seconds left to play and closes the gap to 18-17 at halftime. But the second half belonged to the Lions as they held the Riders to just 1 point. At the 6:22 mark of the third quarter, Cherry takes a pitch from Matt Denigan and hits the end zone for a second touchdown of the game. Louis Pasaglia then ends the third quarter with a 49-yard field goal, 28-17 BC. In the fourth quarter, the Lions put the game away. Another Rider turnover. Tim McRae is hit and fumbles the ball. Walter Ballard picks it up. Nobody is able to tackle him. Ballard going 35 yards to the end zone, and BC takes a 35-17 lead. Running back Anthony Cherry adds his 3rd touchdown of the afternoon as the Lions put away a 42-18 victory to move on to the Western Final against the Edmonton Eskimos. And despite the loss, the Riders' most successful season as they make their first appearance in the playoffs since 1976.
We had our sights set on doing a heck of a lot better than we did and having a heck of a lot better game than we did tonight. It's a tough thing to swallow right now, but, you know, we had a half-decent season. I think that's the way we've got to look at it.
I really think going into the third quarter, when we had the turnover for our side, but we didn't get any points, and then I believe they marched it down for a touchdown right after that. It seemed like it probably turned the momentum a little bit in the game there because it seemed like if we would have scored there, it made a big difference going into the win. But BC is a good football team, and you know, they proved it again today.
The most disappointing part looking back is that third quarter when it's our chance to really take control of the game and we didn't get it done. And that's, to me, that's the most disappointing because I think there's some things I probably could have done better. And I know looking at the film, it probably will be. Also, it's all hindsight, but that's going to be the disappointing thing.
I thought Tom Burgess played a very good football game. I don't question Tom's job at all. We had a number of dropped balls in there, and I did talk to Kent. Kent was rather stiff, and you know, he felt that Tommy was doing a good job, and that we should leave Tommy in.
I felt really good. You know, I felt like I was throwing the ball well this week. You know, Coach had told me that he was going to play me, and it just didn't work out. You know, they came up right at the end of the game, you know, and asked me if I wanted to go in. And by that time, you know, I'd been sitting around the whole game, and I was frozen, and you know, there was really no need for me to go in there, you know, for a couple series at the end of the game, and you know, take a chance of, you know, getting hit for no reason.
Anytime Matt Dunnigan's the opposing team's quarterback, you got to be nervous. I mean, he's the #1 quarterback in the CFL right now, in my mind. I don't know whether you call it play of experience, just call it. When you got the #1 quarterback, I don't know what you call it. That guy you got to worry about. And I thought he came out today and beat us, and I thought he was the reason they won. He played, I thought, virtually a mistake-free game.
In a regular season game, a lot of plays just seemed not to matter. You know, okay, take a shot, didn't work, big deal. But you get in a playoff game, it just seems like every play is an important play. Every play is, you know, a crucial moment, and I think that's the biggest difference, and just a little more intense in that matter. Because, you know, you make one mistake and it turns into a game breaker.
And I think they learned that, you know, if you're there, you have a shot and you got to make the best of it. And I think that the key for a football team is to get the monkey off their back and get into the playoffs, which we did, and we have to make another step next year.
Every aspect of the game, we should now sit down and be very self-critical and have an open forum with our coaches, with Dan Rambo, with Alan Ford, and say, what could have we done, how could we have been better, and how can we be better next year? I think we should go through that kind of a process.
And that process will begin tomorrow. David Williams did catch 7 passes for 75 yards today for BC. Ray Elgard, 4 passes for 76 yards. Jeff Fairholm, another 5 catches for 60 yards. Lions quarterback Matt Denigan was sharp today, completing 19 of 29 pass attempts, 193 yards. And Anthony Cherry added another 184 yards along the ground.
Well, Cherry's quite a football player, and then when Parker gets the ball inside, and then when the slots get, you know, we've got a nice offense, and when all the things work, it works real good for us.
It's working so well right now. Do you think you're the best team in the West?
We haven't proven that yet. Not until we get it all proven on the field. You know, we're a football team that can still get better. You saw that tonight. We made some mistakes and hurt ourselves. We can get better from that.
The ball players, I think, came out there and handled the weather conditions, and used the elements to our advantage like we said we were going to do, and hopefully we can continue to do that in the upcoming weeks.
Our game plan was to take their offensive line, their defensive line out of the game. You know, they rush really hard, and we wanted to get them off balance so they can't use their strength. And that's what we did in the first and second quarters. You know, they didn't know where the plays were going to come from. Third quarter, you know, we knew where we had them. We had them right where we wanted them. They didn't know what was going to happen.
And back to the Riders, looking ahead to 1989. Veteran guard Roger Aldag says he'll have to sit down and think things over before committing himself to another season. However, Aldag doesn't want to go out with just one playoff game to his credit.
I'm going to have to sit down and discuss it. I think right now I hate to quit now. No, the fact that we've got a little more work to accomplish, the fact that we didn't make it to the Grey Cup, and that's my goal right now. But I'm going to have to sit down and decide, but I still love the game of football, and I still feel pretty healthy. So.
As for General Manager Bill Baker, he maintains he's not headed for the Commissioner's office. There will be more discussion likely on that subject in 2 weeks' time at the Grey Cup in Ottawa. There was one other football game played today. In the Eastern Division semifinal this afternoon, the Bombers played before just over 12,000 fans. The smallest crowd in 20 years at Winnipeg saw the Bombers sneak past the Hamilton Ticats 35-28.
The Tiger Cats were trailing 3-1 in the first quarter when Harold Sampson was called for pass interference. That set up this play. Martin Sarton drops his head and powers into the end zone. Hamilton has an early 8-3 lead. Winnipeg battled back to tie the score at 11, and with time running out in the half, Sean Salisbury sees the blitz and finds Tim Jesse, who dives into the end zone. The Blue Bombers led at the intermission 18-11. In the third quarter, Hamilton with a 20-18 lead. Tim Jesse will get the call. He fumbles in the end zone, but it doesn't matter. The play stands, and the Bombers are back in front, 25-20. They add to their lead when Salisbury shows play action, then find Tony Johns for the score, 35-21 Winnipeg. But Hamilton's not dead yet. Todd Dillon comes in at quarterback, and at the Bomber goal line, Dillon will have to keep it himself. Touchdown Hamilton. They now trail only by 7 points. The Ticats ended up with one last chance, but Earl Winfield is stopped short of a first down. That was it as the Blue Bombers advanced to the Eastern Finals, beating the Ticats 35-28.
And quarterback Sean Salisbury completed 25 of 40 pass attempts, 332 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Claims of Rider pride. There were times in the last decade that Rider pride got a severe test, to be sure, as the Riders appeared to wander aimlessly through several CFL seasons. But Saskatchewan fans are boasting now. To put this story in proper perspective, we must take you back 11 seasons.
day. The drought was broken as the sun came out to shake the dark clouds away. The green looks brighter than it has for years. We like when it feels this way. Turn your eyes to the sky, put your hands in the air, throw your head way back and say 11 years. That's enough. 11 years.
The Riders rap about it in their new video, and the city has embraced them completely. In this deli, as in most places in Regina, playoff fever has caught on now that the drought is finally over. And shoppers here get a special bonus.
For this event, we have featured whole barbecue chicken at just $4.99 each, and with that, to receive a free container of Rider Pride Jell-O.
At a time when the CFL can use all the coverage it can get, yesterday's paper was loaded with 6 full pages of game coverage, and the fans love it.
They're celebrating the fact, I think, that they've got a good football team. They're not celebrating the fact that they're in the playoffs. It's more of a, we can win this semifinal and go to Edmonton to play the final, rather than, isn't it great to be here?
When you lay out your $20, you have to think that your team has a chance to win the game. You've got to think that they've got a chance and that it's going to be close in the fourth quarter. And that's the kind of football the Rough Riders have provided this year. And that's, I think, why the fans are so enthusiastic. They don't demand an 18-0 season. They demand hard, tough football, and they want to know that their team's going to be in it in the fourth quarter.
The 88 Riders have made 1976 a distant memory, but for some fans, that last playoff game will always be special.
I was there, and we stole part of the goalposts, came up on the train from Mooseman, took the goalpost back on the train, and had a hell of a party.
By the way, the lead vocalist on the Rider Rap, defensive back Harry Skipper. Rider Pride alive and well once again in Saskatchewan. The Bombers alive in Winnipeg after a victory in the Eastern semifinal.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Riders 88. I'm Ron Rimmer. Along with us tonight, as always, Coach John Gregory, and our special guest tonight, quarterback Kent Austin. Now, gentlemen, first of all, let's talk about the 88 season. John, despite the loss and not moving on to that big Grey Cup game, it has been a good year for the Riders.
Well, I think that we've had a good year. It was disappointing to lose that ball game. You know, I really felt we could beat BC, and especially at home. And we just had a couple things happen to us that took us out of it. But our players gave a great effort this year, and it's an exciting season, and we all look forward to next year and hope we can make the next step.
Ken, maybe we should ask you this next question. Nilson Jones made the comment after the game that maybe the players, their eyes were a little glossy and a little different feeling heading out into that playoff game as opposed to the regular season. You guys were going well. Did you sense a sense of tightness in the locker room?
To be honest with you, I really didn't. I don't think the guys were tight at all. You know, I don't know if that was something false on their part, but I thought the guys were loose and were ready to play. You know, I don't know exactly what Millie was saying or referring to. I don't know if he was referring to a tightness as much as he was when we got out there, you know, the crowd being so pumped up. But I think the guys were ready to play.
As well, John, the fact of being there, being in a playoff game, it's been so long, and you do have a young team.
Well, we do have, and you know, I think that I really think the players gave a great effort, and they really wanted to win. There's just no question about that. And like a couple of the fumbles were probably the key items in the game, and if those same things happen to us, then we blow them out. So it's just one of those games.
Let's get to the highlights of that game, and there was so much mentioned about Cherry. He did have a heck of a game, 184 yards rushing and that sort of thing. Here we have Matthew Dunnigan's first touchdown pass, and he did a heck of a job during the game.
Well, it was a fine play by Dunnigan. We should have had the right tackle over on our defense, so he was doing a better job tackling than our defense was. It's unbelievable on that play what the right tackle did to Jerson.
so many times, and I remember playing high school football myself, used to practice that tip drill, and I noticed you guys practice it during the preseason as well, and it comes into play here on this, your first drive. You come right back and score as well. Jeff Fairholm makes a great catch.
Well, this is a good throw and a good catch by Fairholm. It's a super job. He's had a great year. He's played super for us.
I guess that's why you practice that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
I guess that's why. Or you put good athletes out there and they come up with the ball.
Okay, the first half, everything was very, very close. You got that big touchdown at the end of the first half to Ellingson, his first touchdown pass of the season. It was a great play.
Yeah, it was just a drop back pass, and Tommy read the coverage, and it was a very fine pass by him. It was a great catch by Ellingson. Excellent pattern.
And you go into the locker room at halftime, and everything's just peachy keen. You're down by 1 point, not being outplayed. Everything's still up in the air.
Well, we felt at halftime that we told the squad that we were going to, it was our choice in the second half on the win, so we decided to take the win in the fourth quarter, and we told them we're going to have to play through the third quarter, and when we got the win, if we could be close, we'd have a really good chance to win the ball game.
Okay, things still going well in the fourth quarter. Then comes this, I guess we could call it killer play right here.
You know, really, right there, you still can't see what's happened. And the guy, there's no way that he can be down there in the middle of that pile and not be touched by somebody. The referee should have, they probably should have gotten the ball, no question about that. But it shouldn't have been a touchdown. It should have been down there and make them earn the touchdown. But that was the backbreaker.
Okay, and of course, we mentioned Cherry's great game that he had. How do you stop this little guy?
You know, he's an interesting guy. He's not all that fast. He's supposed to be a 4.69 guy, but his quickness is really interesting, very, very, very quick. And as well, he's got great upper body strength. And he's so short that those big guys have a hard time hitting him low, and he bounces off time. He made some great runs during the season, and he made some great runs against us.
Fumbles aside, anything differently that you would have liked to have done in that ball game?
No, I don't think so. I think we were in good shape. I think we had a good game plan on both sides of the ball, and it was just the things that happened to us, they determined the game.
Okay, we've got to take a break on Riders 88. You have any questions or comments for John or Kent, give us a call at 721-2351. We'll be back right after this.
Book your Las Vegas trip now. Besides the famous Dunes Hotel, you can choose the Flamingo Hilton, the Imperial Palace, the El Rancho Hotel, or the Riviera. Come to Lou Miles Las Vegas.
Lou Miles Vegas, Lou Miles, Lou Miles, #1 to Vegas. Lou Miles Vegas.
Here is the best Christmas album of the year. Here is John McNally's Christmas. John McNally, one of the world's great tenors, singing all of your favorite Christmas carols. As a bonus, you will receive John McNally Canadian Edition, filled with romantic and nostalgic ballads of his homeland, Ireland. Quality Records is happy to announce John McNally's Christmas and his Canadian Edition, available for the first time through this special television offer. 2 albums, 2 cassettes, or 1 compact disc can be yours if you order now. Visa, MasterCard, COD charges. Call 569-1321 or save COD charges by sending $12.98 for albums or cassettes or $19.98 for compact disc, plus $3 postage and handling to John McNally's Christmas, P.O. Box 124, Regina, Saskatchewan. Call now. Operators are standing by. Remember, this offer can end without notice.
Praise the Lord. My name is Reverend Ivan Antonik, and I'm pastor of Faith Life Ministries here in Saskatoon. I am host of an exciting program called The Winner's Way. In this troubled world, there's always a way to win. Jesus said, I have come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. If you're troubled, you're tormented, you're physically sick, whatever your need is, Jesus said, if you can but believe, all things are possible. Watch us, how you can become a winner too.
Welcome back to Riders 88. Ron Rimmer along with John Gregory and Kent Austin. And gentlemen, Kent, you personally, let's go over your 1988 season for us. ups and downs. I guess the down part was picking up the injury late in the season.
Yeah, that was pretty much a downer. You know, those things happen. I wish it hadn't happened. I wish I could have done more for the team the last part of the season, but I couldn't. And, you know, what can you say? You take the good with the bad, and you just come back in better shape next year.
You had such a great start when you first came up, and then it petered off a little bit, and you got off to a great start again this year. Do you feel comfortable with the CFL game now?
I learned a heck of a lot this year. I really did. I learned a lot more about the game, and I think Coach Gregory and Coach Goldman really did a great job with the quarterbacks this year in teaching us about the game and putting us in a position to win the ball game. And this was a real good growing year for me.
And, of course, we have the phone lines going, 721-2351. You have any questions or comments for John or Kent, and we'll get to the phone lines right now. Hi, go ahead. You're on Riders 88.
Yeah, I was wondering why Burgess was not making a lot of completions.
Well, actually, I thought Tommy was playing very well, and he had, what do you have, 5 drop balls in the game? Kent? I think there was 5 drop balls in the game, and that's not his fault.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Thanks for the call. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Ron Rimmer, Brian Albert calling. How you doing?
Not bad. Yourself?
Oh, pretty good. Coach?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't too bad of a year. I'm looking forward to next year.
Well, so are we.
I have to ask you, though, I think the other guy sort of beat me to the question, but at some point in that game, did you not look over at Kent and say, geez, should I put this guy in? And if you did you know, when was it, and why didn't you decide to put him in?
Well, I sure did. In the third quarter, really in the third quarter, Tommy had 2 series that weren't real good. And, you know, I thought about it at that time, and then he came back and had a couple of really good series, and he had some balls dropped on him. And, you know, I really, you know, the quarterback isn't what lost the ball game for us. Tommy didn't lose the ball game. And, you know, I would have put Kent in for sure if I thought maybe he could tackle Sherry. That was one of our major problems. So Kent had a great year, and Tommy had a great year, and we're looking forward to having them both back.
Yeah, it should be all right. Don't you think, though, that just the fact of changing somebody like that causes a shake-up, and maybe that's what they needed, too? You know, I've done a lot of sports, and when you do something like that...
I didn't think we were playing badly. Did you think we were playing badly?
Well, I just look at the final score, and at some point of the game, something had to be done.
You look at the 3 fumbles. You look at the fumble of Timmy's here, and, you know, Timmy's been a very sure-handed guy, and they picked it up and run it in. That's not the quarterback's fault. Tommy had one where he broke out of the pocket and took off in the run and got hit from the side and fumbled that one. I guess you could blame that one on him. And we had the Joe Fuller fumbled a punt. They scored 3 touchdowns in those things. So that's the difference in the score.
Okay, could you maybe elaborate on some of the players that might not be coming back or don't want to come back? And one other thing, I think no matter what happens to the rest of the CFL, we got to keep Bill Baker around here. So.
Well, Bill's done a great job, and he's a good guy to work with, and he's certainly been extremely fair to me. As far as players coming back, I think that we'll get most of the players to re-sign. We are in tough times. If you read the paper last night, you know, our club has done a lot of things, and it's still a financial struggle, and we have to maintain the salary structure. And, you know, if players can't live with that, then we're going to lose some of our players. A couple of the players have indicated they don't want to come back. Denny Ferdinand has indicated that. You know, Denny has asked to be traded, and we will probably trade him. David Conrad, I hope that we can convince David to come back, and with one less running back in there, maybe we can. But the one thing that we've said, Bill and I have decided a long time ago, is we want people here that want to be here.
Okay, thanks a lot. Good luck next
thank you.
Well, there's Joe Fuller, who seems to be a problem. He would be a big loss.
Well, I think that you know, I think the reaction in the paper the other day was a little far-fetched, and I talked with Joe, and I think that Joe may have some NFL opportunities, may not. We certainly would like to have Joe Fuller back.
Okay. Go ahead. You're on Riders 88.
Good evening, guys. How are you?
Hi.
All right. I have 2 questions. Number one, first of all, I'd like to congratulate Riders for doing a great job this year.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate that.
Coach Gregory, you're doing a great job. We all appreciate it, and you know that.
Thank you.
First question is that I was a little disappointed towards the 4th quarter when I felt that you could have put Mr. Kent Austin in.
I just answered that question for you, and you know, like I say, I think Kent's a fine quarterback, and I think Tommy's a fine quarterback, Kent hadn't played for 5 weeks, and that was one of the problems. And I did talk to Kent, you know, in the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter, and he and I visited back and forth, and we felt that it wasn't worth going out there, and he was cold and sacrificing that knee.
But in a way, we really had nothing to lose.
Well, we had nothing to lose, but I talked to Kent, and I'd rather have him for next year. We think he's an outstanding quarterback.
I can respect that, but anyways, I guess the momentum carried out towards BC side, and that was unfortunate.
Well, again, it wasn't our, you know, I'm going to answer this very simply. It wasn't our quarterback that lost the ball game. It was the fumbles that lost the ball game. So let's be fair.
I guess. What would Kent have to say to that?
Kent, what do you have to say to that?
Do you feel that you, at that time, felt confident enough that you felt that you could have taken over at that one point?
You know, that's a...
Thought that was being done at the field? Did you not have confidence at all?
Well, I have confidence.
Kent's always... Kent's always...
I mean, it's a hard question to answer. I don't... I felt like maybe... I don't think Tommy played that bad. You know, I agree with Coach, but you know, I wanted to play. Obviously, I was ready to play. I mean, I'm not going to deny that. I would be lying if I said that I wasn't ready to play and that I wanted to go in. I just felt like, you know, there at towards the end of the fourth quarter, you know, at that time, you know, really it was 42-18, and there was really no reason for me to.
Oh no, not at that time. I meant from the beginning of the third quarter, a lot of passes were not being completed. Okay.
I tell you what, now here's the thing that upsets me about that. You have to look at the thing, and there were a lot of balls dropped. There were 5 balls dropped. So that's not the quarterback's fault.
No. I'm just saying.
Tommy was reading the coverages right. He was throwing the ball in the proper place, and Tom did not lose. The quarterback did not lose the ball game. So let's be honest about that. If you're not going to be honest about it, not going to be fair, then I don't think it's a fair question.
Well, no. I didn't mean to corner you folks. I'm sorry about that.
I'm being honest with you, and Kent knows that I have a lot of faith in him, and Tommy knows I have a lot of faith in him. I think it's important that we have 2 guys around here that can play.
Yeah,
okay?
I respect that decision, sir. But the reason why I asked that question was because that game itself was quite important, not only to you, but as for us too.
But like I'm saying, if Tommy is playing lousy, I would put the other guy in.
No problem.
Okay, thanks for the call. Hi, go ahead. You're on Riders 88.
Yeah, I was just wondering, when are you guys going to start selling alcohol at the games?
What did you say?
Alcohol at the game.
Oh, I don't have anything to do with that, so don't ask me.
That's not his job, but I did hear a rumor that next year they're going to try and set one section aside for the sale of alcohol so it doesn't bother the people who don't want to get...
I'm sort of thinking that'd increase your revenue, you know.
It's against the
probably
provincial...
get the fans more into it.
It's against the provincial rules right now.
Yeah,
so.
it's not only the Riders' decision at the moment, so you got to go through the politics of the thing as well.
Oh, well, you guys had a good year anyway.
Okay, thanks. Okay, thanks for the call. Go ahead, you're on Riders 88.
Hello, just a few comments for Gregory and Kenny.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys did a hell of a job there this year, outside of a few slip-ups. The Calgary game particularly.
Oh yeah, you're right. That was one that we. That was a tough one. You're right about that one. That was a lousy one.
But you guys increased the awareness of football here in Regina, and you guys are doing a hell of a job. So we'll catch you next year.
Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for the call. We've got to take a break on Riders 88. We'll be back with John and Kent right after this.
Quality Records is proud to present an important new collection, The Great Tenors. Enrico Caruso. These are the great Great Tenors. Available now on 4 albums, 4 cassette tapes, or 4 compact discs. More quality music from Quality Records. Yours if you order now.
Visa, MasterCard, COD charges, call 569-1321. Or save COD charges by sending $19.95 for albums or cassettes, or $34.95 for compact discs, plus $4 shipping and handling to The Great Tenors, P.O. Box 124, Regina, Saskatchewan. Call now. Operators are standing by. Remember, this offer could end without notice, so call now.
The government has the mob's #1 informant.
But we know for a fact that a contract's been put out on his life.
Now, special effects genius Raleigh Tyler must complete the illusion.
The best thing to do is to make them believe that he's dead. You want me to pull the trigger?
You are 100% protected. I give you my word.
He tried to kill me!
Brian Dennehy, Brian Brown, a plan too evil to be real. The shocking suspense thriller, FX.
This Tuesday at 8 on STV.
Welcome back to Riders 88. Ron Rimmer along with John Gregory and Kent Austin. We've got a number of phone calls on the line. We'll get right to them. Go ahead, you're on Riders 88.
Hi, I just wanted to say congratulations to Coach John and Ken Austin and all the rest of the Riders for a fantastic season.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think it's a little unfortunate that Kent got injured during the season. He did a heck of a job.
He was playing really well. That was and it was the thing about it's always happens. It was kind of an insignificant deal too. It was. I don't think you got hit at all.
No.
Did you? Just twisted just wrong. And you know, the other thing that's very impressive about Ken Austin is that he did have the cartilage surgery, and they did have to open it up in one place rather than it wasn't just arthroscopic surgery. And I never seen a kid come back so quickly from an knee injury. He did a heck of a job.
The other thing, too, was before that, you had a finger or a hand injury that you played with for a couple of years before anybody knew about it.
He had a broken little finger.
Yeah, and I'd just like to say that I agree with your decision to not put Kent in the fourth quarter. I mean, you might as well keep him healthy and get him ready for next year because the Riders are going to rock the CFL next year.
Well, I tell you, the players and Kent and I had a good conversation the other day, and everybody's excited about coming back already. And Kent maybe can comment on your. What do you think about next year, Kent?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. You know, things don't come easy. You know, like we were talking about, me and Coach were talking about, and sometimes you have to take one step before you can take 2 or 3. And I think it was good for us in a weird sort of a way, maybe not to have a Cinderella-type season and win it all, because next year we'll be even more hungry. And sometimes I was thinking back to myself, sometimes when you have a Cinderella season, that you tend to have a letdown the following year. And this way, you know, we know where we stand now, and we're realistic about our team and how good we are, and I think we'll be that much better next year.
Okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks for the call. Go ahead, you're on Riders 88.
Yeah, congratulations, Coach, on a fine season.
Thanks. Like I've said many times, the only thing is it was very disappointing. You'd like to win that one more game, you know, but I appreciate your call and your comment.
Okay, my question is about Tom Burgess. So last game against Ottawa and a few times against BC, Ray Elgard was sitting wide open down there, and he just missed them altogether. It seems like he tries to avoid Ray sometimes. Maybe you can explain that to me.
Well, I'll let Kent explain that. It's on the well, it's
I don't know why you'd want to avoid every team that's wide open. I mean, we dream for that. No, that's not it at all. You know, Tommy played well, and you know, a lot of what happened was out of his hands, and you know, so you're not going to make every pass. You know, I surely don't hit every pass that I throw, and you know, I wish I could, but I think, you know, Ray Elgard had a great year. I mean, just a great year, probably his best, and from what I understand. So.
Well, and you know what I was alluding to for Kent to answer is sometimes your reads, the quarterback's reads, take you away from a receiver, and he may end up beating the guy, but that's not where the read takes you. The read takes you to another.
We throw a coordinate. We throw a coordinate coverage. A certain passing play is set up to take advantage of different coverages, and we read the coverage on pre-alignment before we take the snap, and also as we drop back, and that takes us to a certain portion of the field. And a lot of times, when we turn to throw to our read or to throw to the guys that give us our read, a lot of the defenders on the backside just let up because they know we're not throwing to that side of the field. So a lot of times, after the ball's let go, you say, well, there's a guy, you know, wide open downfield, and in reality, he probably wasn't if that side of the defense thought we were coming that way.
Okay?
Pretty tough to watch sometimes, but again, thanks for coming back this year.
Thanks for the call. Go ahead, you're on Riders 88.
Hi, I just wanted to congratulate the coach and the Riders on the fine season that they had this year.
Thank you very much.
And I'm sure that Tom Burgess did an excellent job for you.
He did, and Kent did, and the other guy that we have in the background there, Jeff Bentram, is also a fine quarterback, so we're pretty fortunate here.
Well, given a few breaks on your last game, I'm sure you would have won it.
Had we not had the 3 fumbles, I think we'd have won it. Going into the fourth quarter, we're down 11 points, and we were sure we were going to win.
Yes, it was a good game.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks for the call. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Hi. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Coach Gregory and Kent and all the rest of the Riders for what was a great year of football in Saskatchewan.
Thank you very much. We're very excited, and the other thing I wanted to mention before the program ended is that we've been very happy about the participation on this program and the great calls that we've had, and even some of the hard questions are they have to be asked and they have to be answered, and hopefully we've done a good job of that. Appreciate your call.
Okay, the one question that I wanted to ask is, you've made such great strides this year. You've improved in a lot of areas. Now that the year is over, what areas will you be looking at to maybe improve in even further for next year to make that extra step to the Grey Cup?
Right. I think that the big thing we have to do is to ensure ourselves of some players. Should we lose some players? Should we lose Joe Fuller, we have to go out and search out and find a defensive back that can replace him. And I think it's obvious we're going to lose Denny Ferdinand, at least at this point in time it appears that way. So we need to go out and find a running back. The other thing that's really important for me to do right now, and I'm in process right now, is to start to evaluate the Canadian talent for the Canadian draft.
All right. Well, good luck. Anyway.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you very much for the call. We're just about out of time here on Riders 88. We have one more break to do, but there are some calls on the line. And if you hang on, John will get to you after the program is over, so just stay right there. And we'll be back with more on Riders 88 right after this.
The honky-tonkin' good times are back. Dwight Yoakam is coming live one night, November 22nd in the Agrodome. CPI DKD Night Out Entertainment bring you raw energy of California country's Dwight Yoakam. Reserve seats now at the Agrodome box office or call for credit card out-of-town orders. He's coming November 22nd. Molson Canadian presents Dwight Yoakam in association with Coca-Cola Classic.
We're back on Riders 88. We have several calls on the line. As I mentioned, we don't have time to get to you now, but stay on the line, and John will talk to you after the show is completed. First of all, gentlemen, I want to talk about this quarterback controversy or not. Obviously, you're tired of hearing about it. You heard it all this year, both of you guys.
Yeah, well,
you don't want to hear about it anymore next year, but it's going to happen again as soon as
here's the thing, Ron, that I don't know any place that there isn't a quarterback controversy other than in BC. Where Matt Dunnigan is far away the leader. Every play, the Minnesota Vikings, I caught a radio show the other day when I was driving someplace, and they're going back and forth on Kramer and who's their other quarterback?
Wade Wilson.
And Wade Wilson, and it goes on and on and on and on. And I have to answer the questions. I wish we could play both quarterbacks. They're both fine quarterbacks. They're both fine young men. And Kent was telling me the other day when we were talking about the quarterbacks, and he wants to compete for the job just like Tommy and just like Jeff, but they're all good friends. In fact, Kent came over here from a dinner that the three of them are having with Coach Goldman. So I mean, we try to get by with it as lightly as we can, and I can only play one at a time. And you know, it's not an easy choice because you don't switch quarterbacks like you switch slapbacks.
Your thoughts, Ken, heading into next season?
Well, you know, I'm just going to prepare myself like I always have in the past. I've always been ready to play. I don't think there's any excuse when you're on this level not to be ready to play. And, you know, I'll come into camp bigger and stronger, and I have some goals, some individual goals that I'm going to try and attain in the offseason. And I'm going to be ready to roll. You know, I think there's a lot we can still accomplish and a lot of ground to cover. And, you know, we just compete, and the best man wins, and that's the bottom line.
How far do you think this offense has to go? It made big strides in 1988. What needs to be improved for next year to make it more consistent?
I think that the main thing that we need to do is not slip mentally when we get in games to where maybe a couple bad things happen to us. I think if we can get ourselves mentally to the level of realizing that we can be champions and not just a real good football team, but that we can be champions, that when we get in games and some bad things happen, we can still come back offensively and stay competitive and stay in the ballgame.
John, what's up for you now over the next couple of months? Where do you go from here?
Well, pardon me. We're in the process of grading. We'll grade every player in the CFL right now. We're in the process of doing that. I'm in the process of setting up. I'm grading our own players, and we're also in the process of setting up for the draft in our free agent camps and all of the things we have to do to prepare for the season. About the 17th of December, I'm going to take off, and my family and I are going skiing down in Montana, so we're really looking forward to that. And after that's back, I'm going to see Kent down at the NCAA Coaches Convention down in Nashville, and from there we go to the Senior Bowl, and from there we have our free agent camps, and then it'll be about time to start again.
Busy off season. Quick Grey Cup prediction for both of you guys. What do you like? Kent?
I like Toronto.
Like Toronto?
Yeah.
Coach?
You know what? BC is so hot, and that doggone Matt Dunnigan, and if that Cherry can run like he's been running, I think they're hard to beat, and I'll bet Ken a nickel on the ball game and collect it from Nashville.
Okay, you thanked us earlier, and I'd like to thank yourself and the rest of the Riders for joining us all year long on Riders 88. Thank you very much, and continued good luck with the Riders.
Okay, thanks, Ron. We're looking forward to next year.
Okay, we're going to have one more program next week. It won't be with the coach or any of the Riders. We'll have in some of our media panel and discuss the upcoming Grey Cup game and the Riders. So tune in again next week at 7 o'clock for our final Riders 88 program. Good night.
Personnel, as well as evaluating the entire league and ranking our players in the league, and I think that'll give us a better perspective of what we need.
All right, there's been some talk that the certain players don't want to be back for whatever reason. The ones that were mentioned earlier this week, Denny Ferdinand, David Conrad, Albert Brown, Joe Fuller. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I think Joe Fuller, I think it's a matter of contract negotiations, and we'd really like to have Joe back, and I talked to Joe, and what was in the paper was not necessarily his feeling. Same with Albert Brown. He was very disappointed in what in his comments being considered right along with the other two fellows. He told me that is not what he said, and that if we can get things worked out, he would like to be back. David Conrad, I really hope that we can get something worked out with him. I think that he's a good ball player, and he just got in that situation when Milson Jones came in this year, and Milson Jones obviously beat him out and had a heck of a year, and but we still think David Conrad's an awfully good player. Denny Ferdinand has requested to be traded, and we're in the process of dealing with that right now.
Okay. Let me ask you tomorrow, the division finals, who are you picking?
Well, I'd like to see my old Bombers win out there at Toronto, but I don't think that they will be able to. I think that they'll have a tough go out there. I think they have quite a few injuries in their offensive line, which will limit them. A frozen field will eliminate the quickness of Tony Cherry, and I think that will hurt the BC Lions. However, if there is good footing, I feel that BC can win. If it's a terrible day, I think both teams could win. I think it's up for grabs, and they'll go to the breaks.
Okay, John, this is your final appearance as a regular on Sports Journal for 1988, and we have one final assignment for you, and that's just to reach into our little draw drum here and pick out a winner for us for a trip to the Grey Cup next week.
I've noticed how many you have. This is unbelievable, the number of letters you have in here. There must be somebody down there in the bottom that sent in a long time ago that deserves a trip. So
okay.
I'll pull this one out right here. Okay. Do you want me to read it, or are you going to read it?
Well, it doesn't matter. Can you read it?
I'll let you read it.
All right. This is from Mr. and Mrs. Paul Relke, it looks like, Dutton Crescent here in Regina. And the question was, who wears jersey number 61 for the Saskatchewan Roughriders? And Brian Illerbrun is the right answer. So congratulations to Pauline Relke of 39 Dutton Crescent here in Regina. You have just won a trip for two to the Grey Cup in Ottawa next week, and Dash Tours will be in touch with our winner, Pauline Relke, as of this coming Monday. to iron out details for your trip to Ottawa. John, thank you very much, and have a good off season. We'll see you again in 1989.
Okay, thanks, Dale. I enjoyed working with you and Don all year, and it was a lot of fun, and hopefully we can have as good a year next year and take another step towards the Grey Cup.
Look forward to it. We'll be back with more on Sports Journal, including General Manager Bill Baker, in just a moment.
Fasten your seatbelts for the hottest show on home video, Car Wars. Over 130 spectacular crashes by some of pro racing's top drivers. There's never been so much action packed into one super home video. See all the thrills, all the spills in the comfort of your own home. These are the most spectacular crashes ever filmed. Car Wars, home video from K5 International, only $19.99.
Available at Zellers, Wolka Woolworths, Kresge Kmart, Canadian Tire, McLeod's. Makes an ideal gift.
Your home is a major investment and you want to protect it. Elite Eaves and Exteriors can beautify and upgrade your home with eavesdropping custom manufactured on-site to meet tough standards. Elite installs and manufactures soffit and fascia locally to withstand Saskatchewan's harsh climate. Eliminate hours of needless maintenance. Protect and enhance your home at an affordable price. Upgrade your eaves with a trouble-free package including soffit, fascia, and continuous eavesdropping locally manufactured. Call Elite in Regina or Moose Jaw.
You never really know how far you're going to get in this business. One day you're doing late night sports. The next day, broadcasting the Olympics. Some people think to make it really big in this business, you have to move to the States. Time now for a look at sports. The Moose Jaw Warriors have restructured their team in an effort to get back on the winning track. They just didn't know any better.
Win over $25,000 in prizes in Dash Tours' Decade of Tours promotion, including 2 free trips for 2 anywhere in the world. To enter, just join us on our next tour. Join us in Ottawa November the 27th for this year's Grey Cup game. Complete tour packages include return airfare, deluxe hotel accommodation, reserved Grey Cup tickets, and all ground transfers are available for booking now. Plan now to show your ride or pride at this year's Grey Cup game. Call Dash Tours today at 352-2222 for all the details on our 11th annual Grey Cup tour.
Back live here in our CKCK TV studios in Regina with the general manager of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Bill Baker, who just returned from Edmonton this afternoon. Everybody's pretty excited up in Edmonton, I guess, about tomorrow's football game.
No, they're ready for a great game, and this morning it was fortunate. It was real warm out. Yesterday it was cold, but this morning it was kind of balmy. It was kind of a Calgary Chinook, and everybody's ready for a big game.
Who do you think is going to win tomorrow?
I like what John said. I think if the weather conditions are like they are now, but the field is bad, I think that Edmonton will beat them.
Do you not think that's bad for the league to see Edmonton go back to the Grey Cup again?
I think it's bad for both those guys to be there. We should have been there. So I don't really care which one wins. I wish neither one of them was there. That's all I wish. So it's bad for the league. Sure, if everything goes, it's bad for the league if BC goes.
Okay.
I don't like either club.
All right. What about league attendance being down again this year?
There's some clubs, and we just haven't done a good enough job, Dale, in certain areas. We all know that. It's a big concern. We still haven't made that transition from being so concerned with football. Mm-hmm. We haven't spent near enough time on the marketing and sales side of the business. And we're going to spend a whole bunch of time in the next several weeks and few months making sure we get that in line. Calgary kicked off a very aggressive season ticket program. Winnipeg's kicked theirs off. We've kicked ours off. Mm-hmm. But it needs more than that. It needs a whole bunch of support at all different levels and with all different groups.
Mm-hmm. What about the special Christmas package?
Gee, I'm glad you asked that question. I was really hoping you would.
There was no prompting at all by you, was there?
We're offering that. We started that last weekend, and what we're offering is a $10 gift certificate to all adults
who will make a down payment of $25 on season tickets before Christmas. So it's a $10 Christmas gift certificate. And all children, season ticket sales or teen season ticket sales, again, will offer them a free gift. And for children, it's only $40 if it's paid in full by February 28th. And for teens, it's $90. So we think they can't turn it down. We're going to do a lot of promoting, a lot of work on it next few weeks. And hopefully we're going to be able to attract a couple thousand new customers before Christmas.
Okay, and the kind of season that you had this year, obviously, should translate into more season tickets.
It should, and I think all the things we've done with the young people, whether our lunch we had last week or the family plan we've introduced, or all the things with the souvenir stuff we've done, I think all of that hopefully will translate into increased family sales.
What about beer in the ballpark? You're not totally in favor of that, are you?
No, I'm concerned about that. I would like to have a beer section, some place where you know it's a beer section. If you want to go there and drink beer, you can. I really think that just having beer wherever in the stands...
How about a beer garden in one end zone like they do in some of the Major League ballparks?
I think that's a great idea. Let's work on that. Let's go for that.
All right. How about getting back to the league now? Skydome is going to open next year. The Argos are playing their last game ever at Exhibition Stadium tomorrow. What do you think that's going to do? Is it going to be that big a help for the league?
The biggest concern I have, I'm not sure what the Argos have done to promote their first game or their next season in the Skydome. I don't think we've been very aggressive in that, and I'm very concerned as to what has taken place, because people just won't walk in there. And if you don't go out and do a proper promotion and promote the Skydome, promote the first game, accept all the things that go with it, people may not come. So I think we've got a big job to do in the next 6-7 months, making sure it's a major event.
All right. Will Bill Baker be doing it for the league next year? And I mean, are you going to be going to Toronto and working for the Canadian Football League as some sort of...
Dale, I'm going to do something rude here in a minute. Yeah, as I said before, and I keep going through it, and I feel kind of dumb even answering the question. I said they haven't offered, I haven't applied, and I'm very pleased to stay in good old Regina. I'm not a big guy in Toronto. I'm more than prepared to work in any committee I can from a league point of view. And
the league needs you, Bill.
If they need another guy on a marketing committee or whatever, I'll be more than pleased to do whatever I can on a league-wide basis.
But they need somebody that's got a profile. You've got a profile in this country as being...
Would you quit putting me in the corner?
I'm not trying to put you in the corner, but there are many people right across this league, and I'm sure you've been answering it for the last day and a half in Edmonton. Everybody wants to see you working for the league.
I have, and I say I'm prepared to work for the league in whatever capacity I can, and preferably out of this city. And seriously, this time, I haven't been made a job offer. And I'm very content to stay here in good old Regina, Saskatchewan.
Sure, aren't we all? But, sometimes there's an opportunity that comes along that you can't pass up.
They move the head office to Phoenix.
Yeah, right, okay. But again, people are saying, but the Roughriders aren't as strong as they could be, so we don't want to see Bill leave, but why have a strong Roughrider team if the league isn't strong?
Yeah, and I would really like to see this club just a little bit stronger before I leave. I'd like to see us just do a few personnel moves, do a few other things, so we look forward to next year being even more confident that we got a better chance of being a great cup. Because I say I can't stand going to Edmonton yesterday was a very depressing trip for me, and going to that banquet, as much as I tried to enjoy it, was very, very tough.
Okay.
This club has got to become a true contender.
All right, Bill, thank you very much, and have fun in Ottawa next week.
I will, Dale. Thank you.
I wish I was going to be there. Okay.
I wish you were too.
All right. Thanks to Bill Baker and to John Gregory for joining us tonight. Right now, let's go to our regular plays of the week, starting with the NHL.
The Detroit Red Wings are on fire. Watch this move by wing Steve Yzerman on John Van Beesbrook of the Rangers. The Red Wings destroying Boston last night. Walt Podubny flat on his face with a great deflection to beat Andy Moog, while being taken out on the play by a Bruins defenseman. Watch Jerry Pateman, a linesman in the National Hockey League, destroyed by Kevin Hatcher of the Capitals, and Pateman had to leave the game with a shoulder injury. The weirdest goal of the week, Pat Verbeek deflects it off the boards. Mike Vernon tries to play it, but the puck goes off his skate and into the Calgary net. Rangers Ulf Dahlin and James Patrick robbed by Flyers Ron Hextall. The pass of the week to Leaf goaltender Ken Reagan up ice ends up with an easy goal by Vincent Damphus. The Leafs play in Edmonton tonight against the Oilers. Another great save, Clint Malarchuk of Washington on the North Stars' Kurt Fraser with the pads. Hit of the week, Capitals' Yvonne Corvo destroys North Stars' Mo Mantha behind the net, and Mantha did not like it. Everybody knows that goons are not supposed to score pretty goals. Don't tell Boston's Jay Miller as he dekes out Mario Gosselin of the Quebec Nordique. A couple of days ago, Canadians
Stephane Richer given a 10-game suspension for this vicious slash, and Islanders' Jeff Norton, he deserved it. But a lot of inconsistency in the National Hockey League with suspensions, as Philadelphia's Rick Tocchet got the same suspension for trying to gouge out an eye, which seems to be a much more serious offense to me. Let's watch the turnover of the week. This UCLA defensive lineman just strips the ball off of Stanford quarterback's hands while he's trying to pass for an instant 6. The New Orleans Saints coaching staff has not given North Battleford's Ruben Mays much playing time as a running back, but watch this reverse against the Los Angeles Rams for a hard-fought 6 or 7 yards. A little bit later, Mays would score a 4-yard touchdown against the Rams last Sunday, and a quick visit to the band. The CFL needs controversy.